what's up, Mystic Manifesting family? We're going to send this out actually to Inked and a few other people, so I'm going to hit the share before we get into it. Let me send it. All right, okay, we're live now. This is Nick with Mystic Manifesting, but you already know that. But today, in honor of the man Josh, who came up with the first idea of a live stream saying, go live at nighttime with your Mystic channel and call it Midnight Mystic Manifesting. This is a tribute to him. And the reason we inspired it too, we have Gary here, who's the amazing editor who has kicked ass on all these fucking videos because these are some badass videos he's putting together. Taking my ramblings, my ums, my ahs, my kind of like, and he turns all of that into the beautiful works of art you guys see. So thank you, Gary. He is a master manifester. He is working with me. Started out as a client. And before we get into that too, that said master manifester. I thought about this earlier today. Everybody is a master manifester. It's just how you're using it. So that's a simple thing. But anyway, Gary, welcome on.
Glad to be here, my man. How are you, my man?
I'm doing pretty good tonight. You're the one motivating me up too. You're like, you didn't go live yesterday, go live today, and this was originally going to be a round table, which you guys probably saw the picture of the round table. Gary's also not only a master editor but a master Photoshopper. Photoshop always pissed me off, but he put that together with us in there, and we will go forward and start adding mystics of the round table.
If it's a round table, if you've ever seen, spoiler alert, if you've ever seen Justice League at the end when he says round table but room for more. Room for more.
Exactly, room for more. We were going to have Inked here, but some circumstances popped up, so she couldn't be here, and we're still got to figure out the logistics of it. But for now, we got this because I know you could go live together. Maybe, I would just see it being a third bar right underneath us. Probably it would just shrink us and then put her there, I think, but I'm not sure. Let's see. I don't know if you could see the comments too. What's up, John? How you doing? Eric, what's up, brother? Angelica. I don't know if I said, wait, Angelica. Why the fuck did I say that? Angelica, welcome in for the first time. It's her first time here. Welcome in to this time. It's late at night, so midnight manifesting. And I was just going to try and light the cigar with the cutter. But we both have our cigars. This is the first time live we're having cigars together because usually you're in the chat. This time we're face to face, but we've had sessions before, and usually a session, if you're a cigar smoker, sessions will entail one cigar with me. But if there's too many people in one day, I'll be thrown up.
Yeah, I've saved this one because I've got to go because I'm flying in a few days, so I've got to get some more. So I saved it just for the live. So I'm ready to cut, Nick.
There we go. I was gonna cut with you, but I spoiled the surprise. So while you're cutting, either I could fake it and make it look like we're cutting together, but I've already put the full cut, the rosebud cut.
Yeah, I've gone for the straight.
You have to watch Theo Von podcast with Tony Robbins. He basically talks about how to make. I did watch parts of that, Eric. It was such a good one. I love Theo Von, and I should have actually thought about this while I was getting changed. This black, I like wearing my black button down, but I was gonna show you the picture, Gary, that I met Tony Robbins years ago. Before I even thought about ever becoming like a speaker and stuff, I thought I would be more successful at like one of my other goals, like acting or something, then become a speaker. But I met Tony Robbins, and I always had worn something like this. We wore the same shirt, and it was very cool, good time. But
it's funny. It's funny. I've been to one of his. I think it was 18 or 19. I went to Unleash the Power Within in London.
I went too, like 20.
It was, and the thing is, I don't know, any of you guys like do workouts. They go to the gym, take pre-workout. You figured it was like taking pre-workout. It gets you fired up.
Yeah.
And shortly after that, for a while, I was making money on the stock market. I'm still making money in the stock market, but it was up and down. But at the time when UPW finished after the weekend, I was just like hitting it hard, and I realize now what UPW really was about, and it was really about maintaining that mindset and pushing forward.
And like drives
really
you to keep it.
Yeah, because obviously when you take pre-workout, you're in the gym, you come back, you're done, and it's caffeine, so it will
Yeah,
wear off. Um, you know, with the same concept, you've got to keep pushing it. You've got to keep taking the caffeine.
yeah,
Not literally if you don't want to,
yeah.
but you know,
As I take
I'm
some
it's you're boosting yourself mentally, and you just have to keep going with that. And that's what I found UPW to be nowadays in manifesting,
yeah.
in the manifesting community.
And I think, yeah, we'll light these and I'll say what I was going to say.
So I've got
So,
about an hour and a half smoke on this, so we better make it count.
yeah, these are like the perfect timer for the lives too, because they last just the right amount of time usually. But I was gonna say with those like Tony Robbins events, yeah, they put you in the end state, in the peak state, because he drives you into it, and then like you were saying, you got to maintain it after. But the point of all the lessons is he's showing you how to do it, kind of like what I do with the channel. I'm trying to keep you in that end state. But if you don't stay in the end state, then then you lose it. So it's like it becomes like the Tony Robbins thing. You spend all that money, you hype yourself up, and then everything you're obtaining kind of goes away because you didn't stay in the state. So you have to becomes your job to find the tips and tricks. Like his thing is like he gets in the ice cold water and the sauna and all that shit in the morning to like shock his system. So everybody has to find something that works for them.
But why you've said, I was just looking at the comments while we're talking. I just look at Eric. I don't know if that's for me. It's just no fair. He has a dope accent. I don't know if that's at me,
Oh yeah, that's
but
probably you. Eric's usually in all the lives, so he knows my accent.
British British don't. I mean, you know, everyone hates the sound of their own voice. I prefer the American accents. When I'm flying, like we say altimeters in Britain, and America use altimeters. I like altimeters because it's more rhythmic. It flows better.
It
So
sounds
there's certain words that I think flow better in the American English.
yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. I've heard this. A lot of people say I have a dope accent, but
Yeah,
from
I like it. It's like one of the ones that gets to me is like the Australian one. It's like the Australian ones are hit or miss. It's like it's either really funny or it's like, oh my god. No offense if you're Australian. But I'm sure people say that about the Chicago accent too, which I don't even hear because half the people think I'm from Boston too or New York. I'm feeling
yeah.
excellent here. Glad you're feeling excellent, John. Just got out of a different live. Nice, Angelica. Which live you come from? You come from another channels about manifesting or just something else? What's up, H? How you doing, brother? My self-esteem is going down the more you talk about. Wait, the more you talk out, JK. Oh no, are you Australian, Eric? No, no, Eric's not Australian. Eric's from. Oh yeah, he's. Yeah, I was gonna say, Eric, you're from fucking San Diego. I thought.
Okay. I'll tell you what,
Yeah,
Eric. Eric. All right.
he's gonna teach you how to
So
do that.
I'm seeing the comments as well on here. Eric, what is it? Well, okay. I don't know how long it's going to take for him to respond to this. So the question I'm going to put out
Go
to him
ahead.
is, what is it that makes you think your self-esteem is lower just because I'm talking? Like that's the question I want to put out, and then I want to kind of get his point of view, um, and then yeah. So when he comes back to that there's the first question.
Yeah, the first question is about. Gary's just gonna teach everyone how to do a British accent, and we're all gonna raise our self concepts and go to bed.
Well, I'm hoping I can raise his self concept on his own accent.
Angelica says yes from another channel. Her name is Kaimiona. I don't know who that is, but there's so many manifesting channels now, so just a joke. Lots of
Yeah.
people love accents. Yeah, that's true.
So yeah. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much got into the manifesting game, um, same way you did, Nick,
Yeah.
and probably everyone else. Law of attraction.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Start out
law
with
of
the.
attraction. And in fairness, I so basically I've always known that there's something in the background, I remember when I was because I'm running a business. It's dormant at the moment. It's not really trading, but I do have a business, and it was because by nature my main career is I'm an airline pilot, and I always wanted to be an airline pilot since I was a kid. I had teachers tell me that I just couldn't do it. They didn't really think that I'd get the grades that I needed to get. Ended up getting, for example, science. We have these things called GCSEs, what you call high school. We have secondary school, and they stream you. When I was in school, they were putting me in all the lower tiers, so the highest I could get was a C. I basically stood up and said, "No, you put me in this stream," and they
Yeah,
said, "Well, if you get put up, the work might be harder and you risk failing." I said, "I'd rather fail and try than do really well and get a C maximum." And so I did it, and they moved me up against their will and their
yeah,
decision. I got double A's.
yeah. It's almost like
Um,
it's like a manifesting thing in a way too. You put yourself. It's like I'm gonna put myself in this situation, but I know I'm gonna do good in this situation no matter what. And you put yourself there. So it's like
yeah,
you're gonna succeed no
and
matter.
every step I've taken has been, initially has been towards that career. And um, when in 2019, 2018, I was sort of working, trying to run different businesses, experimenting with selling on Amazon. That didn't really work. I've been coached by billionaire business people, and basically I went into try and do airline coaching, and I developed sort of courses. When I use Microsoft Flight Simulator, I actually use Microsoft Flight Simulator for training. I use it whenever I go in the simulator to train. I use it coming up to that. Instead of just reading, we've got so much volume of information to read. I go on Microsoft Flight Sim and I can recreate the profiles that we have to do. So when I go in the sim, I'm prepared. Now, I was creating these coaching courses for people to be able to simulate the information. And during that time, without going too much into the business itself, during
Yeah,
that time, my then partner, I remember we went to LA, and I was making the money for that business was coming off the stock market because I'm a stock trader as well. In my spare time, I trade the forex markets,
yeah,
and I was making a lot of money. I say I still am, still make money, but I was like reeling in money at the time to be able to pay solely for the business, and we were flying. Well, I say premium economy. It was in the company that I worked for. Um, they only had premium economy. They had economy and premium, and it was like business class. And I was paying £2,000 for me and my partner to fly to LA to go to business conferences. And I remember saying to her at the time, she'd often come to me. There's a mosquito in there. She'd often come to me and basically,
you have English mosquitoes.
yeah, I've not seen them in a while. Yeah, she'd often. My partner was cabin crew at the same airline, and then at the time, and she often brought the work home with her, so to speak. When I leave the work, I don't bring it home. I don't talk about it. I talk about even when I'm at work, I don't like to talk about work.
Yeah,
And I often had conversations with her, and I said to her, "You've got to stop bringing the work home because it's getting you the anxiety." Is picking you up and it gets you going and you keep talking about the same problem. And we talked about this in LA, and this was 2019,
yeah,
and we talked about it in LA, and I said, "There's something there." There's like she always said, whenever I went flying, it was like null event. Just flew there, end. Whenever she went flying, you'd have freaking like not major things, but you'd have like someone had a heart attack on one flight. Someone like you'd have like things going on that just circulating around her flights.
yeah,
Now she's really good at her job, and but it's like always drawing in those kind of issues to deal with. Whereas she would like, why is it whenever you go flying, nothing happens? It's like because nothing happens when I fly because
and
I'm like
that's your
because
affirmation. Believe.
I'm the best person to fly with.
Yeah, and you built
Uh,
that.
so, uh, so I'm a first officer, and basically, you know, you know, I I basically said to her in LA that time to them, I said, "You've got to stop pulling in that negativity." And she then said to a friend of hers, "Do you believe in something where you can pull in that?" And she said, and that her friend said yes, but she didn't say anything else after that.
Yeah,
And I started to wonder, and this went on and on and on. Then 2020 came along. lockdowns and things like that, and
Yeah.
we lost jobs. And um, my she was actually my first SP essentially.
Okay. So
And
wait, she was your partner
yeah,
in business. I don't even think I knew this story. So she was your partner in business, and you worked
yeah,
together,
she was
and you.
actually. She was,
That was okay. I didn't even know that story. I don't think.
yeah,
Well, I'm not gonna say names. Maybe
and
I did. I didn't know that
I
deep.
was law. So we went on about a year. She was kind of leaving me, and you know, and what was odd during that year, I wanted to focus on the business. I had a lot of money saved up,
Yeah.
and I wanted to focus on the business because I wasn't flying, and I spent a lot of money on the business. It was all funneled through the stock market, so I was obviously making money because
Yeah.
not only was I paying the business, but I was paying my bills as well. So it
Yeah.
had to come from somewhere, and she went and got just a regular job, and she it was really tiring for her. And what was odd is one day she'd be like, "I miss you. I want to be with you." Literally, the next day she'd be like, "I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this." And then, so the next day I'd be like, we'd have a really nice. I didn't see her. She was working, but she might text me, or I might see her if she came to walk her dogs,
Yeah.
and then we'd have a really nice day. And in the back of my mind, I'd be like, "Yeah, I know what tomorrow's going to be."
The
And
business.
then I wouldn't get a message from
Oh,
her the next day because I know she was working or something, and I'd be like, "She's too quiet." Something and when she was too quiet, I knew what was going to happen. And literally exactly what I thought would happen was happening every single time. So every other day I was in a relationship. Every other day I was out of a relationship, and this went on off for about a year until eventually she said, "I just want to be on my own," and
and
that was and even during that time, I was doing meditation, but law of attraction side. Like I
yeah.
was doing, I was doing law of attraction. It was more law of attraction, and she did come like 5 times. She did come back, like Nick. She
It's
came
not.
back 5 times,
What are you talking
but
about? You are a master manifester. What are you coming to me
but
for?
but it was 18 months later after I'd started seeing someone else, and after I started seeing someone else who I was in school with, and she didn't really want to be in a relationship. Um, this was 2021, and she didn't want to be in a relationship. So we were seeing each other. I wanted to be in a relationship, and my anxiety got the better of me. Then I took work in Bahrain to go and do cargo work
Yeah.
um, for a bit, for about 8 months, and being away from home was difficult. Although I came back quite a bit. I had the money to come back.
Yeah.
We were paid pretty well in the airline. There was no flying going on at the time. We were getting the airline going,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
but I always landed on my feet. That was the other thing. When it came to SP was difficult, but when at the time, I'm not going to say now at the time, but when one thing I will say was with career and money, I was ready to. I was very, with the business. Almost got scammed.
Yeah.
About marketing, trying to market the business, um, and this was 2020. It was all hitting me in 2020. Although saying that, I went on holiday for three or 4 weeks to Greece. One of my favorite places is to Crete, and I go there every year. It's Crete
Yeah.
and Greece, and just trying to do business out there. And then I was paying out like 5 grand for what I thought was marketing, and I was getting scammed. They were trying to scam me basically. They were
Yeah.
saying it was marketing, but then I was doing the marketing. All they were doing was teaching me. In the end, I managed to get my money back again. Somehow, although I got into messes, I managed to always get myself out of it. So it was like this half and half thing. Like it was a bit like Jim out of um, American Pie. Man, how much crap you got into, he always managed to get himself out of it.
It's yeah.
Um,
If you have that
you know,
assumption of too that you get out of all these things all the time, it's like it's
yeah.
not because money in
In
business.
the end,
Like for me,
exactly. I
I'm
always kind of land. You know,
yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
in the end, I always kind of landed on my feet,
Yeah. It's
and
like because money, there's not really a resistance to a lot of times. Like even like for me, it's like I grew up without much money, but then like when I started making money since I was a kid, I'd visualize having money. So when it started to come, even if I were to lose it, by spreading it around, like Reverend Ike said, you circulate money, you don't spend it. I would just be of that mindset. It would come back, but it was the SP thing that became hard for me too, because
Yeah.
I was coming from a background of one, like there was a lack of it, like felt I was bad with women when I was young, and then two, not interested in it. I was working on my goals and stuff like that, and that was priority. So every time I get close with someone, I'd push them away because I wanted to work on the business. So it's like when it finally came down to an SP that I wanted, there was a heavy resistance because I'm in uncharted territory and I have not been training my mind for this moment. Whereas for money, since I was a kid, I was feeling what it would be like and playing in my imagination to be like that. And then once you get it, it's like there's no obstacle that could stand in my way. Same thing with the gym. I tear my pec. There's no obstacle in my way that I'm gonna be held back and not like get my body back to where I want it. So then I would just
Yeah.
push through. I don't have a resistance on the body or money or work or anything, but it was the SP realm, which is where I think most people struggle because it feels so different. Like you don't feel
I
a
think
disconnect
the
from
reason why I think the reason why
money
um,
can't back.
I think the reason where money and SP differ. So I'm just looking for this mosquito. I think the reason why money and SP differ is because when you think of SP, money you've got more control over because it's your entity.
Yes.
SP is almost like that external entity. You're kind of relying on someone else to come forth and meet you on
Yeah.
the other side, and that's the unknown. And
And
anything that's unknown drives anxiety.
yeah,
We fear what we don't understand.
the enemies of manifestation.
Yeah,
Even though you do manifest what you feel, like there were times I would be afraid by going to the gym. I knew me and my SP went to when I was trying to manifest her, but my self concept was off. This is why I say it's the luxury, not a luxury because it is painful to go through. But if you're waiting a long time to get your SP, you're having more time to work on your self concept. So when SP does come back, you don't have to do the whole hot and cold behavior thing because you're usually going to get hot, hot, hot. And if they do turn cold, it's not going to phase you. Whereas you worked on your self concept, they come back, they do hot and cold. The cold throws you off, and it's like, oh, hold on, wait, and then you got to go back into your. And now it's like you're in a boxing match now, almost like hold on. Metaphorically, you're not actually hitting your SP. Just be clear on that, because some people might
yeah,
think you're in a metaphorical
none of
box
that crap.
chess match, if you will. You're in a chess match with SP. It's like, hold on, you're making this move. Let me. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. My self concept's not ready. So that was the thing where I said sometimes, like if it is taking you a long time, it's a better thing because you're going to have more time to get yourself in order if you're doing the self concept work. If you're just waiting around and just not doing the work, like Neville talks about, be doers, not just hearers of the word. I feel like so many people they come to me for advice. Like I said, I do the live stream so people could get coached for free if they can't afford the coaching. So it's like you go in there, I give you advice, and then you come back again. It's like, did you apply what I said? No, but I'm still struggling. Okay, but
Yeah,
did you do what I said? If you don't like, you can listen to me, you can listen to Neville, you can listen to everybody. If you don't apply the stuff, then you're not manifesting and you're not learning manifesting. Or it's like I did it once and then nothing happened. Okay, do you know
yeah,
how long? Like a lot of us have had to persist and suffer through stuff and have to fight our way back and lie to ourselves and be in denial, but hide it from everybody and not seem great. There is an art to all of this, which is why there are coaches and people who do this for
oh,
their.
well, that was the other thing. I mean, I do think back. Um, my second SP, who I was just seeing, she wouldn't go into a relationship with me. I do think. Um, I mean, it really hit me hard with that one. When I was away and the anxiety and that, and I just think if I'd have known what I know now, because I started with the like Sammy Ingram.
Yeah,
I mean, I was in Bahrain. I didn't have much to do, so I just had YouTube. I was just watching video after video. If you just do this, now she like Sam, like a lot of what Sammy says is really good. I will say that, and what I like about her is she was just like just a firm, and it simplified it, and then but then equally there were different, like I was trying different techniques, if you want to call it, and I tried scripting and think there were things that happened that, and I'm like you, Nick. I'll be honest. I'll be brutally honest when it
Yeah.
comes to this game. I think it's only fair because I know what it's like to feel. I've been doing this now, say, since 21, late 21, but
Yeah.
with it in the back of my mind before that, but really consciously doing it since 21.
Yeah.
And what I will say is, I'm not perfect at all. And anyone that says it's so easy, just do it.
Yeah.
And I understand, I understand the people on here, and I understand what it's like to go, like, yeah, just do
Yeah.
it. Yeah, just that easy. It's not always that easy.
A
I
lot of
know how I deal with, and I empathize with people, and I think it's only fair, especially when people are, because I've paid a lot of money for different coaches. I've spent in the thousands for various different coaches that I would have rather spent um, on sort of like yourself, who obviously I got to know 6 months ago or so, or was it 8 months ago? But I put a lot of money into coaches that I just got nowhere. I'm sorry to say, I got nowhere with them, and the only way to carry on was to keep forking out more and more money. It's like going to an arcade machine and being like, insert 25 cents to, or 25p. Well, here it would be insert another pound to carry on.
yeah.
Continue. And it's like, but it's not insert another pound, it's insert £250. Continue. And you're like, no, game over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. You keep.
so-
It's like the doctors make their money and you being sick, or the therapists make their money and
there's
treat
more money in treatment
the
than cure.
coaches make their money. And like for me, it's like if you do a session with me, even like before I have set up, like right now I've got the thing set up where you could just click book a session with me, pick a time and everything, and then send the money. So that's just, and then it's a 1 hour session. That's how I have it set up now. But in the beginning, it was like you email me first. Okay, email me, and then I usually talk myself out of a sale and be like, "Listen, here's all you have to do. Come back to me with this." And then either they would come back and say, "Hey, I seen movement," or they would just not message again, and I would just assume that they did what they were supposed to. Or then if they did, then they would get a session, and then they'd have movement after paying for the session. Not saying that the payment of the session makes it better, but it's like I feel like you value, because there were people who I helped for free, and then they just didn't do anything I said. Didn't do anything I said. Then they're like, I want to do a session. Okay, well this time just pay for it. Okay, then they pay for it. They listen. It looks like you could tell they're listening now. And then, hey, I got movement. Hey, this happened. Hey, me and SP are talking again. Hey, I'm getting messages. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, what was the difference? The money wasn't the difference. The difference is because you paid the money, now you're invested. Before, it's just like, I could just use this whenever I want. So, like the videos and stuff, it's like you're just using them to watch and then doing nothing. It's like you think watching the video gets you your result. It doesn't. It's the doing.
One thing I will say on that, my business coaches, I mean, I was paying thousands. And my business coaches have business coaches. One of my business coaches, if anyone's ever watched the US Apprentice, um, guy called George Ross, who was Donald Trump's right hand man, he was the business coach of my business coach, and I met him a few times. So um, I've essentially been coached a little bit by him. I've taken advice from him. One
Yeah,
thing that my business coach told me, and everyone else, it's like, yeah, they've got so much money, they don't need to be paid. They don't
yeah,
need to be paid. They've got so much money, but it's not about that. If you stop paying them, then you won't take it seriously. And that's what they said. So they still pay their coaches, and I was coached by their coaches as well. Like
yeah.
some of these guys, like they don't need to be paid.
They're
They're so rich, they don't need to be paid, but they
giving.
still get paid because it makes you act. You take it more seriously and you value it more.
Yeah,
Now, and
into college and their parents paying for it versus them paying for it. They're going to flunk out if their parents are paying, but they pay for it. It's like fuck. I had to work hard for this money, so now I got to value what I'm doing.
yeah, I mean, even when um, even when I was coaching with Nick, I was, I'm more than happy to pay for Nick's time. Like, um, and whenever it ticked over an hour, I just be like, yeah, here's another 75. Here's another 75
Yeah.
bucks. Here's another 100 bucks. Let's do another hour.
Yeah.
Because that's my integrity. And I think integrity is a big thing. It's how you see yourself, and that's self-concept. Now it's, I won't say I never hesitated to pay for the coaching at all. Like, I was quite happy to pay for it, and I got value out of it. And I mean, obviously Nick and I talk a lot more now, and things are a little bit different. But
It, it became a
I
thing where
was always,
I'm to play,
I'm even today, I'm more than happy to pay for the coaching, even though we're friends.
but I won't let you.
But he won't let me. So I do
Yeah.
other things to
Yeah.
to show that appreciation.
Yeah.
And that's why I put the effort into those videos, like, because I want to see this channel excel, because it's actually a valuable channel. It's actually real.
Thank you.
And it doesn't just blow smoke for about 20 minutes just for the sake of getting 20 minutes on YouTube.
Yeah.
Monetize, for them to leave after 20 minutes and going, great.
Yeah.
Just repeat, regurgitate. You need to get value out of it. It's no good
Yeah.
just to keep saying, continue,
Yeah.
another $250. Continue. Like,
Yeah.
you can't keep doing that, because I make money, but I have to be smart with money. And sometimes just because I don't spend it, people say, oh yeah, but if you spend it, it comes back. Yes, that's true, but you do have to. If you keep spending it as well to a point where it's uncomfortable, that's where the resistance comes in.
That- you re-
Whenever I've lost money on the stock market, I was freaking spending it, like, and then I lost money and I couldn't get it back quick enough.
Yep.
And now I'm in a position where I've got more money. The market can't really beat me,
Yeah.
because I've got more money than the market. That, like, the markets that I trade at that point in time, I can fuel my trades.
Yeah.
And if a trade goes against me, I don't take losses. I hold. I don't believe in this whole cut your losses and run your profits, because I've never seen a profit run. I've never, ever, ever seen the markets range. They go up and down. So trend is when it goes one, like, just up and up, like Bitcoin did, but it does that 20% of the time. Ranging is up and down. The market ranges 80% of the time. So you can't just keep cutting losses, because you'll be cutting losses all day long. That's how they make money. You put stops in, it will hunt those stops out, because it knows most people are going to do that.
Yeah.
The only way to make money on the stock market, really, and in any form, not that I'm encouraging gambling or anything like that, because
Hey,
it's
yeah.
how you gamble. Everything's a gamble. Everything is a gamble. Being a pilot was a gamble. I invested a lot, and took the
But
best part of $100,000 to be a pilot.
hedge your bets with manifestation and self-concept and belief. You're hedging your bets.
You're building your ammunition, per se,
Yeah.
like your ammunition, and
You're stacking odds,
um,
or you're rigging the
at,
machines in
at,
your favor.
at some point, yeah. And so, going back to what I was saying, I always valued the coaching, and I'm very meticulous in this community.
I know.
Coming from my job, I have a serious attention to detail. I know when someone's contradicting themselves. I know when they're just spouting off to get your money. I know it, and you can't, like, I can go. I'm not going to go in there and
Yeah.
start spouting off. There's no
Don't drop.
point.
We're
But
buddy.
I have very few coaches that I follow, and I'm not. And this Nick has not paid me to say this. I'm saying
No.
this seriously. This is a really, really good channel, and I would really endorse it. And because the one thing that keeps me, the one thing I look for in a coach is consistency and the maintenance of principles. And I think the problem with the community is that, whether you argue it's quantum physics or magic or whatever you want to call it,
Or religion or whatever, they go through every different.
anything you want to call it, the principle has to be the same. You can't, there's always rationality in the irrational. There's always rational in the irrational. Okay, because there's always a constant. So the principle has, so there's always logical in the illogical. because it's a constant. So somewhere along the line, the principle has to be the same. And I think the problem you get is when people try to like talk about a different way of technique and this, that, and the other, the risk they have and risk what happens, and you start to see this is the principle tends to change. You know, the principle, Neville's principles never changed. They were the same all the way through. So what happens is it's like someone goes, oh yeah, try this and then do that and do that and do that. And you're like, oh yeah, but you need to believe. Oh, but you don't have to believe it, but you need to. And then eventually, and I've seen videos where there'll be like one video, they'll be like, oh, you don't have to believe it. And then another video, or even sometimes in the same video, when they're consulting someone else or talk, answering a
Yeah.
question, you just gotta believe it. And
Yeah.
I'll just be like, 10 minutes later, 10 minutes later, you just said you don't have to believe it. So what is it?
I will
So
point out my own contradictions in it. As I will say, I have said that you don't have to believe because there were times I didn't. But the point of it is, a lie told enough times becomes fact. So you're doing it to yourself. You're not changing
yeah,
the world. Telling like this is a problem I see all the time in the community. People will go out and tell everybody, "Yeah, my SP's in love with me. My SP's in love with me." You could tell me that till you're blue in the face, and I'll believe you. Okay, you told it to me enough times. I believe you, and everybody in the chat believes you, and everybody believes you. But at the end of the day, you don't believe yourself, then that's the problem. Then it's not going to happen. So even manifesting with like, oh, I don't really believe it. Like when the shit happens, it's like, holy shit, this doesn't feel real. But you've done it enough times where it does feel real. So there is a bit of a contradiction to it. You don't have to fully believe it, but you have to have enough belief to try, but not you don't have to fully believe it, but you have to have enough to take the leap of faith to actually do the techniques
yeah,
consistently. That's the only belief that I would say you need. Enough that
yeah,
okay, what do I have to lose? I have zero other options. Like you're like Neville says, you're in prison in a sense. You have nothing else you can do. So what are you going to do? Well, really, everything else has failed. Like I've talked about it. I've been romantic. I've paid for trips. I spent money. I made videos. I did all this stuff to impress SP. And at the end of the day, what worked? The only thing that worked and changed personalities and mine and hers was me working on self concept, me loving myself, and doing the techniques and forgiving the old story, which is a big thing. I don't know if the person from Reddit's in here right now, but somebody commented. I forgot that I had made Reddit posts. I literally forgot about that. That years ago, I made Reddit posts about this story because I first time I asked Western back was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So the first time it happened, I made a post. I'm like, holy shit, God, this is real. But then I didn't make a video till a year later. I'm like, maybe it will help some people. And then I would link it
yeah,
to never did. But because I think I put it in one Reddit community, they took it down because it was like self promotion. Even though I wasn't trying to have a channel, I didn't have a logo, nothing. It was just me making some videos to help people. And then people kept like, especially Inked was like, oh, you got to stay on here, stay on here. And that's why I became friends with Inked. She was sending me emails telling me to stay. But to the person who was asking, how do you forgive the SP without feeling like you're being walked all over and stuff like that, and you want the apology? Can you manifest an apology? Yeah. Mine came way later. Like, but do you feel any less like when the time delay? We could go into the time stuff too with this. It's like there was a time delay in the end when it happens. You don't really feel the time delay, but while you're going through the time, it feels like forever and it feels horrible. But if you're, are you focused on the apology or do you want the end scene? If you jump right to the end and you're visualizing being in a happy committed relationship, what are they going to apologize for if you skipped over that part where things are just good now? You jumped in the reality where things are good, that punishment or the apology becomes obsolete because you're already here. That's how I learned to look at it. And then in due time, it's like I would think, that really hurt me, and it would be nice if I got an apology, and things would pop up where the apologies came up later, if they really became that big. But if you love somebody unconditionally, for instance, like we'll take a religious metaphor, if like Jesus is being crucified and killed, and he says, "Forgive them; they know not what they do." And the interpretation I took from that was actually from another coach, and I don't know which coach it was, and maybe it was I don't think it was Neville. Maybe it was another old. I don't even know. I can't know. I don't know if it's an old coach or a new coach, but somebody said that metaphor was he's pointing out the fact everyone as you is pushed out. And even if you read the story, he's in the garden the night before he gets crucified, praying out of fear that he doesn't want to get crucified and he knows it's coming. So he knew it was coming, almost assuming it was going to happen. And then it does happen. And his assumptions had played out. So they said he forgave them because it was his assumptions that played out. And I'm like, okay, if someone can forgive that, then we can forgive whatever we're going through. And
mm,
like It takes it up to the worst case scenario.
With the I mean, so much for me when I think about every time I've explained how I've come to where I am today. It's just now it's just too long. The
Yeah,
story. I mean, Nick, when we had our first call, it took about an hour. It took about a good 45 minutes to an hour, and we were on a call for about nearly 2 hours, really, because to go over everything, every SP, every like,
yeah.
um, not just SP. I mean, mine's about money, workout. I mean, you've seen the latest video, guys. Have seen the latest video. If you're not, get on it.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, I think we got shadow banned because it only got 14 views. That really upset me. That's one of my favorite ones that Gary just made,
Yeah,
and
man.
it
Get on it. Get
I
on
don't,
Discord.
what's up? Yeah, and then the Discord. We have to finish the.
Discord. Discord.
Yeah,
Um,
I should
what
just
I was
post.
gonna say is, I work out. There's the mosquito. Got it. He's dead. Right.
Hey, you're doing the kung fu thing. You're just catching it.
Um,
If you see,
so yeah, I'm a kickboxer. I work out quite a lot. I'm in the gym. Funny enough, I was
if you
doing sort of three. I used to be a kickboxer sort of 10, 15 years ago, and then I just did it on my own because of my job. But now I've started again. I'm in a club, and over the last 6 months, I've really hit hard. I mean, this was after my last SP. I just started going to the gym. I was going 3 times a week. Now I'm going 5, sometimes 6 times a week. And if I'm not working legs, doing technique work, now I'm doing strength training. So strength training, and I'll even do warm up in the beginning and at the end, meditation, skipping, and I'm doing tornado kicks. I'm doing bow staff, weapons sort of bow staff training. I've got guys coming up to me going, "What are you doing, man? What are you doing?" And I've seen my self concept go up, and things and the same. I've seen things in the last 2 years I could never really fully explain. With money, well, I can say that I scripted it, I did this, did that.
yeah,
But ultimately, I've had pay rises in the last year. Quite, I'm on more money now than I've ever been in my career. Um, and it looks like I'm going to see more. Um, and you know, it's how can I put it? It's I got my pilot's license before I got my driving license. I got my pilot's license when I was 19,
oh shit,
and I deliberately didn't do my driving because the way I saw it was, well, I didn't have the money to do driving lessons. But
yeah.
if I get my pilot's license, I get a job, I can afford the driving lessons. Incidentally enough, it took me 4 times to get pass my driving test, and then you once to pass my flying
You were
exam.
made there.
Um, and and it and then the job came in, and no matter what's happened, I've always managed to land on my feet. Even through the 2020 and all that sort of stuff. There I've always, obviously with the airline industry being up and down at times. Um, I will say that things have kind of always worked out. And now, I mean, I've got good experience level. I'm flying one of the largest airliners in the world. I fly the 747, the jumbo jet, and that was my dream.
Yeah,
And be able to fly that and maybe one day command it, be a captain would be, ideal. Long haul, I travel, and say me being a kickboxer and being into the gym, one of my idols is Jean Claude Van Damme,
mhm,
Scott Atkins. They're very two fantastic martial artists. Rocky. I when I was kickboxing when I was younger, I had 7 fights. Not in the street, in a ring. And every time before a fight, I'd watch a Rocky film, usually Rocky Four.
yeah, the best
Or
one.
now I'd watch Scott Atkins, Undisputable now, Undisputable 2, I like. Jean Claude Van Damme, I've been watching Bloodsport, fantastic film, Kickboxer. Um, and in Bloodsport, there's a scene where he's meditating at one of the peaks.
It's a good story.
Where they put us in the hotel in Hong Kong, which I'm flying to in a couple of days as well, so we go there every other week. I take the exact train. If anyone gets onto Bloodsport, watch Bloodsport. He goes on the tram and he goes up to the peak, and I found 10 minutes from my hotel, and it costs me £10 to go up to the peak. Now I meditate the exact same place every time I go, I meditate in the exact same place, and I've sent the pictures to Nick and some other friends who are in the community. It's one of the most surreal things. It's like, um, that's my meditation place when I go there, and you know when when I go to Oman, we go to Oman as well. When we fly back to the UK, we stop at Oman. I'm on the bag. I'm able to work out as much as I can. I'm able to live my life wherever I am, but I'm able to see these great places, and it's a real privilege. So, if you talk about SP, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
pain in the ass. I'm not gonna lie, SP can be a pain in the ass, but you gotta just keep going with yourself because
And not miss any of your life. This was one of my big
yeah,
regrets. I missed so much because one of the manifestation times I was just sleeping all day, depressed, wishing it's like, okay, if I don't get it, I don't want to wake up. It's like, well, you ain't gonna manifest shit, motherfucker, with that mentality, and I didn't out of that mentality. But it's like all the things I missed that I could have been doing, hanging out with friends, going on adventures, taking trips with them, doing all these things, being with my family, missed all of it because it's like no, SP is more important, and then you get the SP back in your life, and if you didn't work on your self concept enough, you don't trust the manifestation being there enough, and you guys have seen it with me live, and you've heard the stories. I didn't trust it enough, so I missed even more shit. Like that's the bonus of your thing, taking the amount of time that it did, so that you could go out and experience things. Like you're learning that okay, I don't need to be up SP's ass. I don't need to be like stressing about it because look at all the amazing things I did by myself and in your own like compared to where I met you, it's like from the first meeting and the first coaching session all the way up to now when we became friends and working together on videos and stuff, your self concept and attitude about life and everything has shot right up to the roof. Like you're just happy for the most part. And no one's happy all the time, even me. It's like I know I'm supposed to present that I'm this guy, but I won't lie. I don't lie to you guys. I'm not happy all the time. I still have a
yeah,
date I really like, but I go there because it pays good, so that way I can be the coach with integrity, where it's like I'm not out here like buy the sessions, buy the sessions, buy the sessions because I need you to buy the sessions so I can live. No, I will gladly go work something I don't want to do so I could be. I'm not gonna say the only one of the few people who could actually give. Where it's like here, let's just do the session if you need it. Otherwise, do this first. And then hopefully you don't come back to me. Not to be mean, but hopefully you don't because you learned it in one session or two sessions or whatever. And I know sometimes it takes more sessions, but my goal is I don't want to treat somebody, I want to teach them, like where they
yeah,
don't anymore. But then like you
yeah.
said, it's like even like you had multiple coaches that you still would work with because it keeps you on your game. And like I had a mentor too, but he unfortunately passed away. I was thinking actually for the room to put up my mentors I've had. Strangely enough, a lot of them have passed away. But it's like put up all the pictures of them where it's like, okay, their spirit is still there. That's the only reason why I don't have any mentors left because they've passed on. But in terms of you, like you said, Michael Jordan had a coach even when he was playing. He's the
Yeah.
number one guy in the league, but he
That's the
still
thing. That's the thing. You look at it like a sports, like someone in sports. Tiger Woods,
yeah.
Michael Jordan, all fantastic athletes, all have coaches even to this day. John Claude Van Damme. Do you know when John Claude Van Damme started, he was going to Chuck Norris and
Really,
training with Chuck. He was just holding pads up for Chuck Norris.
really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was holding pads up. You can find it online. He was holding pads up for Chuck Norris. That's how he started. And funny enough, small world, his first director in Bloodsport, Menahem Golan, was my mum. My mum was an extra in a film because my mum's Israeli. My family Middle Eastern. My nan was Egyptian, so it mixed. But Menahem Golan was my mum was an extra in a film called Lupo, and that was her director as well. And he wanted her. Now she had I'm the youngest of three. She came to England and she had my sister and my brother and me, but he wanted Manham Galan, the director, wanted photos of my mum to do. So it would have been funny because she would have had the same director as Van Damme, and that's how Van Damme got started.
That's
He
awesome.
was he went into Menahem Galan's office and he basically split his legs and he went, I can do this,
Yeah,
and And Manaham Gland went, "You want to be a movie star? We're gonna make you a movie star. Get me Bloodsport." Actually, honestly, you watch it. He goes, "Get me Bloodsport." And it's just surreal to think things like that. And one thing I will say, this 3D stuff, people, with social media, I I don't want to say I miss the 80s because I was born in 87, but I would prefer to be in an older time. And consequently, or I say incidentally, I think consequently is the word. Incidentally, due to recent events, I've not really had a phone. I've only been talking to Nick on Facebook, or I've not had a phone, and I got rid of my LinkedIn. Do you know? Funny enough, me saying this probably now, you can see Facebook stock drop. I don't have a Facebook account anymore. I deactivated it, and I've not got WhatsApp. I haven't had it for the last nearly 30 days. And after a while, it's like you don't miss it. You really don't like. I mean, it's nice to see it. It's
I,
funny when you start to realize how much people rely on it, because I've got people coming to me going, "Are you alive?" Like 30 days later, and I'm like, "Do you know what's funny?" I had one guy said to me, "Are you alive?" And I went, "No." And I went, "Do you know?" I said, "Do you know what's funny?" I said, "It's amazing how people think that the only way to communicate with someone is on WhatsApp." I said, "There is this thing called the telephone. There is post, carrier pigeon. So
they still have that in
you know what's
England.
funny? Like, do you know what I mean? It's a little bit more liberating. I got rid of my LinkedIn, and you realize you really don't need social media, and I don't need to check the 3D, and you just get out of that crap and really step off the grid, step off the grid. I say it again, step off the grid. You won't need to check anything. Like, honestly, what do you need to check?
I,
Nothing.
I would get off social media, or at least when it came to SP, I would, if I wasn't blocked, I would not block her, but I would block the post so I can't see her post. But then I would
One
also,
thing I was going to say is it's a bit different. I had social media in college. I deleted the account. And the only reason I reopened up another one on Facebook was because of my business. Now, business is a bit different. But business, when you're in a business, you're representing the business. And I've been, I've been taught by my business coaches, separate the business from you. The business, because if you want to sell it one day, you're selling the business. Don't
yeah,
make it your baby, and that was business advice. So things like Facebook for business are a bit different. But people talking about 3D, checking the 3D, get off of social media,
there's no point
go
to it.
outside, go to the gym, do
Go,
something else. Like, just do something. Like,
many
why do you need
people
to be on it?
is the SP. It's not like you said, go to the gym, go for a walk, go like you went to a cool place and meditated. There's stuff you don't have to have money to go do stuff. Go walk in the park. If the weather's bad, bundle up and go walk in the park, or start doing a puzzle, or do something to like be creative. Draw a picture, play music. Like look at all the shit that me and you do. It's like I do acting, comedy, weightlifting. You do weightlifting, kickboxing. You got your guitars behind you. You have your day job, which is actually your dream job. Mine's not, but it's like I got somewhere else to go. It's like we have so many things going on in our life, but we fixate on this one thing. And it's like if we don't have this, everything else sucks and life isn't fair. And we just want this one thing. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to be an asshole and be like, oh, I wasn't that person at one time. I was. It was literally, it was this or nothing. But guess what? All the dominoes in your life start to fall over. All the good things you had going for you start to be taken away because it goes back to that one Bible quote, not to be throwing Bible around, but the one Bible quote says from the Matthew principle. Then Jordan Peterson talks about this too, the Matthew principle. It's for those who have everything, more will be given. For those who have nothing, more will be taken away. So if you think you have everything and you're grateful for everything, it's just crazy how you start to see more things come to you. But if you're focused on one thing and how you don't have it and you're crying about it, then more stuff gets taken away. Like I was talking about my first SP, I told the one story before I even met Lily and everything that we've gone through. There was another girl, and I was so destroyed about it. And I see somebody in the chat who knows the story intimately because he's a personal friend who's very into financial stuff and investments too. That's why I know he's paying attention right now in the stocks. But he remembers SP1, Emily. He remembers that story. I was so wrapped up in this chick that didn't want to focus on anything. My grandpa's house burned down, and it's like, oh, good, grandpa's alive, and the dogs, okay, good. And it's like, but I still don't have her. And then my uncle's in the hospital with like he's losing his mind. He's got dementia in his 40s. And then I'm like, oh, that's sad. But I don't have Emily. And then my mom gets sick and almost dies. And I'm still thinking about that. And I was like, you know what? That's when my mom got sick. It's like you need this is there's a direct correlation between you being a bitch and your reality falling apart. Pick it up and do something. So I did. I remember one technique with my mom. I did a visualization for my uncle, and then my grandpa stuff. He just miraculously lived, and I had a sick dog. I think it was around the same time. But I just started changing the way I see things, and it's cliche, and it's something that we put in the videos all the time. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Next day, I mean, the doctors pretty much told us expect your mom to die, and we were through tears. Remember when she was sick? Good thing she's on vacation now and she's enjoying herself. Next thing you know, she wakes up the next day. She's like, I feel perfectly fine. The doctor's like, I don't know what just happened. She's recovering. My uncle,
Same
he's getting
my
ready.
mum actually. I had the same thing with my mum. And again, a few days ago, Nick knows. Um, she went in a few weeks ago, and I was with her all day in the hospital. She was just woke up dizzy, but she had a similar thing, and I just said, no, she's as strong as an ox. She's as
Yeah,
strong as an, and
you
you
hit
know,
that.
one thing I did say to her, and I say it to everyone here: stop watching the news. For
Yeah. Uh,
for everything's sake, stop watching the news, man. It's not going to be good. It's never good. Don't watch the news. Like, watch something else. Watch South Park. Don't watch the news. Like,
oh,
because I'm finding that I'm watching, like, I watch movies. I mean, I don't watch. I used to. I like a lot of romantics, rom coms, but I love The Dark Knight. I love Black Adam is pretty good.
I've never
Bloodsport. Black Adam's pretty good. The soundtrack's really good. I use it in the
seen
gym. Um,
Hans Zimmer.
no, I don't think Black Adam is Hans Zimmer, but I've got to go and see Hans Zimmer live at some point. That would be the next
Have
thing.
you seen it?
But I haven't seen him live.
Would like to
No,
see it.
I would. But if you go on YouTube, you can see a lot of ones like in Prague. Fantastic. The Dark Knight, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Lion King. He's just amazing. And me being a musician,
Yeah.
not professional, but me being like I'm very good at the music, um, and you know, music is my like passion. Inside my heart that like it gets me going. The adrenaline just fills me up, especially when I hit the gym and and um, I just find that I'm watching less and less TV, and there is stuff there are programs that people never ever think is toxic, and I will attest to the toxicity of some of these standard programs, you know, and I'm going to say it, I'm going to throw the name out there, like stuff like Friends and stuff, and like even The Big Bang Theory. Some of them are really funny. Some of the episodes are really funny, um, but
It's whatever you're consuming is consuming
yeah,
you.
you've got to
What,
be
what
careful.
your attention has your life. That's what. Who says that? Was that Reverend Ike that said that one too? Whatever has your attention has your life.
Well,
It's that's
ask yourself this question. I've got a question.
hmm,
Ask yourself this: why would you have an issue with your SP or whoever, break up, and then carry on being friends with them and watch them date other people while they watch you date other people? How is that healthy? Is that
no.
healthy?
It's
It's not healthy to me.
yeah, like you
Um,
those shows. Those shows put the same thing. That's fucks with your psyche, and it's like
yeah,
that's why I made the video about breaking out of the friend zone with your SP because I did go through that. And at the time, it's like, okay, either you prove manifesting in this point, or you realize you actually just love this person enough to let them go and leave it alone. But I said, okay, I take infinite possibilities. All right, I love her enough to let her go. She could go be with somebody else, and I will go live my life. That's one possibility. I acknowledge that possibility. I don't choose it, but I acknowledge it could be a thing. But I can't be around it if it is. Option two, I let that reality play out. And then I choose in my mind to play out the one where when we're together, it's just us. This is a relationship. So you're lying to yourself to a degree. I know people are like, oh, but you're lying to yourself. Okay, to a degree, yes, you are, but you're self-persuading yourself. Let's use
But
different words.
most people can't. Most and even me, like most people, can't be subject to the 3D, the circumstance at that point in time. Why would you expose yourself to it? You know, and if you take even like the Big Bang Theory, how many times did Penny break up with Leonard? Like, how many times until they got married or together permanently? How many times did Penny A get break up with Leonard and then B see other men in front of Leonard that he had to deal with? I mean, can you imagine someone in the real world trying to deal with that?
I
I
did.
mean, you just wouldn't. You wouldn't naturally do it. Like,
I did.
it's not It's not
Yeah,
really normal.
no, and it
I'm
sucks.
not saying I'm not saying react. I'm saying
Yeah,
if you can't take it, and which most people can't,
no,
even I can't generally, don't
yeah,
expose yourself to it. So when you're watching programs like these, it really does affect the mind, and you really got to be careful with what you're exposing yourself to. Like, and I love Sex and the City. I do like Sex and the
I've
City. I do like,
never because it was kind of like before my time. It was like ending when I was growing up.
and when I like me and my SP, we'd watch it every now and again, an episode or two, and we'd have a discussion about it, and then a few days later we'd have an argument because my brain would be going like the way Sex and the City worked, like and
Yeah,
don't go like a lot of guys like Sex and the City, but they'll never say.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I
the
don't judge
initial well, the
others.
initial kind of Sex and the City was like dating just loads of different guys, and then eventually it started to go into relationships. You know, in the beginning she was like talking at the camera or talking to the narrating, and then eventually it got into like marriage and everything like that. Now I prefer the latter episodes than the beginning. There's like 6 seasons, and then I like the films. But we were tending to watch the first 1 or 2 seasons, and it really messed with my brain, and it really came. I'm not saying it came to fruition. What I'm saying is the stuff that was getting into my brain was it's like, oh, does she want to do that? Does she want to do like? And then it it would then transpire that she'd be thinking about stuff that made me think, well, maybe she doesn't want to be with me. Maybe she wants, someone else or something else or some other type of relationship. I'm not,
Yeah,
I'm not saying yes or no. I'm saying it affected me,
yeah.
and that's my faux pas. And so even I stopped watching it because, and a lot of the stuff that I loved, I just can't watch because I can't, I can't. You've really got to be careful with what you're exposing yourself to.
On the heightened stakes are cool to watch, but you don't realize it's impressing you because it's got your attention. And it's almost like here's an example: be careful what manifesting content you consume as well. Just consume mystic manifesting content. No, but for real, be careful what you consume. Like, I have got videos on removing third parties. If you don't have a third party and you don't want to think about a third party or you don't know, don't watch that fucking video because my personal experience was, oh, I better watch this just in case one comes up later because I've had some problems already. What the fuck happened? Third party. So like now I can look back and I can laugh at all of it. And I want you guys to be, even if you have to visualize yourselves laughing about it in the end, like, oh yeah, it's funny now. But I will tell you, I've been in your shoes where every day is hell and it's like, fuck, I want to give up, man. Like, what the fuck's the point of life? Blah, blah, blah. And you're going through all this bullshit. Number one, because I've had some clients struggling pretty bad to horrible points this week. No person or circumstance is enough to make you check out. That's number one. And I'm using terms because YouTube will ban, but you know what I mean by check out. Because you guys know my story, I was almost there. Nothing is worth that because, oh, this doesn't work out. Well, if you check out of life, guess what? You will never win the race. It's like, okay, you're in a race, but you're falling behind. I'm never going to catch up. Who's to say a guy in front of you and ever breaks his leg and then trips everybody else and you going at your steady pace wins the race? It doesn't, you don't know what's going to happen. But if you check out and say, I'm done, I can't do it anymore. I'm not talking shit because I've been there, but you never win. You never get that. Then for sure you'll never have the SP. For sure you'll never get the results. For sure you'll never have your dream body. And like I know me and you have talked about Tate before. It's like we agree and disagree with some of his stuff. The one thing he said was for someone who wants to check out a life, get a 6-pack first and then come talk to me. And it's like, yeah, you know what? It's like that was something when I was going through depression. It's like I never had the 6. I got 4. 4 was my max. But the last little ring of last little spare tire on the bottom was kind of hard to get rid of. But
Those are hard ones. The
mentality,
six are the hard ones.
I looked at your progress pic today. I was like, is that 8? But I was like running around at work. I'm like,
It goes between 6 and 8. But I will say I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my entire life. I've never seen veins on my shoulders and my biceps like I've seen in the last month.
that's
So
the
obviously my body fat percentage has dropped. My muscle has gone up. My kickboxing technique work has gone up. I'm working on the next grading for my next belt,
yeah.
which I hope to do in the next couple of weeks when I come back from my trip. I'm, I came. I was telling you this. I'm gonna be like, if I'm not with my SB, I'm just be a Shaolin monk because
Yeah,
I've been watching a lot of Shaolin monks, and like, you got to ask yourself,
that appealed to me too when I was.
Shaolin monks, are they are they on Facebook all the time? Doubt it.
Yeah,
Like, it's and I respect that. I think that's fantastic because it's like they must have such a clear mind and they just get on with what it is they do. They train every day and it's such an amazing thing to aspire to. I'm not saying I'm going to go out and do half the stuff. I mean, they've been trained since they were children. Like, I mean, I've seen like kids wrap themselves around trees. That's how they train
yeah.
from infants, but from kids. And some of them aren't. A lot of them aren't even allowed to marry. I'm not saying that's the way I want to go, but
No,
I'm saying that I
they're like real life
focus
Jedi.
on me. I've gotten to the point where I focus on me, and I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm doing so well in my career now, and money. I have my ups and downs, but I'm comfortable now.
But it's certain.
And now the next stage is to be beyond comfortable, which I am working on, which I hope to see towards the end of the year.
Yeah,
Um, and you know, it's not perfect, and I have, even recently I had my up and down days. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say, oh my god, you should do this because you don't. And I've got my journals. I do scripting.
yeah. And
Sometimes I just can't be bothered because I just got so much good. Like I can't. And I will consciously manifest in my head. I will affirm. Um, I've come up with something new and recent, which has started to transpose over the last week into elements of fruition, um, and just basically getting to the point where it's like I love myself. I love myself. I
yeah.
love myself. I
And
love myself.
the work,
I watch. Go
look at
go
you
on.
been for 1 week. You said what happened today at the gym?
Yeah. So I got a guy. Like, I'm getting guys. When I say I'm getting guys, I'm getting people
He's
come up
getting.
to me and like it's generally guys coming up to me going, "What was that thing you did?" Like I've
Yeah,
got we've got a big mat in the gym, and I always do skipping, and I always like to clear the area because if I'm doing like spin kicks and things like that, I don't want to go into someone or into something. And the kickboxing club that I do, we're doing bow staff training, and I'm like, I'm only going once. I was only going once a week at the time. I wasn't getting much in, but I really want to improve my bow staff training. So they've got these light barbells, like foam style barbells with a bit of metal in, so it's a little bit heavier than a bow staff. But I'm just there at the beginning when I'm warming up, just spinning. Now I'm just doing it. And I've got people coming up to me today. One guy coming up to me, big guy, does and I'm doing calisthenics. Like you see in the video, I
yeah,
couldn't lift myself up. I'm in good shape, and I still it took me a few months to do it, but now I can do push up handstands and hold myself up there, and I
yeah.
couldn't do that before. And I've got guys. One guy calls me Tony Stark because he comes up to me in the changing room. He goes, "You look like Tony Stark," and I'm like, "You're telling me I look like Robert Downey Jr.?" He goes, "Yeah, from now on, I'm going to call you Tony Stark." Every time he sees me, he's like, "Tony Stark, Tony Stark," and I'm like, "Hey!"
You know what's
And
weird?
basically,
It's
and like literally, he comes up to me. He comes up to me, and he's like, "What do you think of this before and after? Like, what do you think of this picture? It's a picture of him, like before and after." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's good." I'm like, "But in 6 months' time, you're going to look even different because your body's going to change as long as you keep up what you're doing." So I said, "It's not about what I think; it's It's about what you think. And you know, there's no point in me judging one picture. You're looking good, but in 6 months' time, you're gonna look even better. So he's like, oh, he keeps asking me, And he's like, "When are you in the gym tomorrow?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I'll probably come in earlier." He goes,
Yeah.
"Okay, I'll come in at the same time as you." And that's awesome to hear something like that, because it's like one of my affirmations is I'm respected and I'm valued, and that says value. If someone is willing to change the time they're going to go into the gym so that they're there when you're there, that shows that they value your presence.
Yeah.
And the what I do, I'm doing a little bit more mirror work. So, and I'll repeat the affirmation 3 times in the same run. Like, I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. You know, I'm valued. I don't just go da 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 da
Yeah.
da da da. Like,
Time you do
really
it.
focus on the affirmation.
Yeah.
Don't just say it and then move on and then just,
It's a good point to make.
you know, harness it. Especially, I love myself.
Yeah.
Really hard. Because you'll start, like, you'll just really start to feel it after a while. And so don't, like Neville said, don't affirm in vain.
Yeah. When you do,
Um,
I love myself. I love myself. You don't
yeah,
believe
yeah, yeah.
they're just noises. They're
Just
not.
have reduce those affirmations and just make them count. Really make them count. That's what's working for me at the moment, and that's
Yeah.
kind of, you know, I experiment with different things. I'm a guinea pig. You know, I experiment with different things, and
Because the
sometimes things
right
work, and
way.
sometimes they don't at that point in time. But you know,
Yeah. It's like, well, like there's no right or wrong way. So for Gary, if that works for Gary, you could try it, but if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't feel natural, then go to a different technique. Like I will give you, like when we coach, I will start asking, what do you do? What do you, how does this feel? We'll go through a practice of it. How does that feel? What do you, okay. If you don't like it or it doesn't feel natural to you, I will say try it anyway. But if you don't, here's a backup and do this instead. Because the whole point is the techniques don't manifest jack shit. You manifest, but the techniques make you believe that you can. That's why when you're doing those affirmations, feeling them, it gets you to the feeling is the secret. Even if you don't believe stuff, it's feeling that in that moment, that one time you're saying it in the mirror, okay, you felt it. And then you felt it again. And again, okay, now if you don't do it the rest of the day, you have still caught the mood. Like Neville says, you've caught that mood. So you're now going about your day. And then look what happened. What do I always say? You're no more than 2 weeks away from a miracle. You were doing that a week ago. Now you're respected in the gym by one of the bigger guys there. And it's in a weird way, from someone else who's like grown up in the gym environment, is it's more of a compliment when like the bigger guys or the older guys in the gym start coming up to you asking for advice or spots or something like that, or like even like now being older, it's like the kids who are just starting to lift, like the teenagers and the guys in their early 20s who are just starting to pick up the weights. They're looking around and they're seeing you. It's like you like I've had this before. I'm affirming that I'm in great shape and this and that, but I'm feeling looking in the mirror. It's like I'm not in the best shape, but I'm moving kind of heavyweight. But to them, it's a lot. Like it's a lot of weight to them. They ask you to spot them, and it's like, oh, okay, you know what? I am on point. And then, hey, what is your routine? Did you ever look like this or whatever? And then they're asking you for advice. That's more. I feel like that's more valuable than the girls coming up to you saying like, "Oh, you look good," and it's like, "Oh, thanks," because the "you look good" just kind of leads to one other thing. But this is like
the thing
the
about yeah, but the thing about the gym and girls is,
other type thing.
sorry, I say females. I don't want to say it like that. They're like everyone else. They just want to go in the gym and work out. Generally, in my experience, they're not there to pick up guys,
Yeah,
or you know,
I've never had
whatever
a
you're, or
gym.
females, or whatever they're interested in. You know, whatever you're interested, you're interested. And so, what I'm saying is, there's a goal for everyone that's generally to go there and work out. So, you know,
There's girls who are there to do that.
yeah, you
But
know,
the
so you
girls
don't
make
know what anyone's thinking really. You know, all you can do is just assume, and just focus on you. So I got my cats now. See, my
yeah,
cats. I got 2 cats, brother and sister, and they don't like cigars. They don't mind shisha. I smoke shisha, but they don't
yeah.
like cigars. So I'm dip out for 30 seconds, and let them out.
Mine loves
But
the. He's kicked out for sneezing boogers onto the computer. He's kicked out.
um, I was looking because I asked earlier about Eric. Eric said I was just relating to. I asked, you know, what he said at the top. He said my self esteem is going down, the more and more you talk.
Oh yeah, he was just
But
making a joke about.
okay, I just
Yeah,
wanted to see. But then I noticed
just
it
making a
said,
joke because
"Oh, we should
it's
go
a
to people with low
compliment
accents." Right? Okay. All right.
yeah, yeah, a compliment
So I
towards
don't know
you.
if you want to do questions. If I
Boy,
if I want to, I just want to go and let these cats
go
out.
ahead,
And
I'll carry the chat. All right.
yeah,
Uh, I see my boy. My boy Josh is here. Jillian, good to see you. H, hello. How you doing? Adriel Peso, 100%. Yes, sir. Yep. Josh, you see, I got the midnight manifest in for you, and we recognize the God in you too, Jillian. Yeah. So we just decided to get them live, and I actually have to change the title of this and stuff in the thumbnail. Gary did make a nice thumbnail. You guys did see it in the community post. Um, it's the round table, so we're trying to, you know, build up this thing where it's like just to conclude that we're all in this together, no matter how hard this is. We're all we're all here to motivate and lift each other up. And your job is to become the absolute best fucking version of yourself. And that's just what I was saying. I was trying to carry it a little bit, Gary. It's like saying that we're all in this together and we're here to pick each other up. Where it's like, even if you guys know Inked, which you all do, Inked has been there for me when I was down. I was there for Inked when she was down. And I've been there for Gary's been there for me even in some recent stuff where I like like I said, nobody's perfect. Life is never going to be okay. So I don't want to say a negative affirmation because that's a negative affirmation. Life's never going to be perfect. But without struggles, I believe I did ask for it, and you even put it in the video too that I asked for struggles to become a better coach. And you know what? God did give me fucking some horrible struggles to deal with, but those horrible struggles brought me to what I needed to be in life. I can't let the hurt go. I hope having her back keeps me. Well, hold on. Hope of having her back keeps me reliving that hurt. Okay, trying to read this. Should I give up on SP manifestation? All right, H, I'm going to tell you this same thing I pretty much say every week and every time I come on the lives. So I don't want to single you out, but you ask me the same thing every week. So I'm going to tell you this in a nice way. I'm not going to be one of these coaches who's like, oh, I just fucking told you that already. I'm going to be the coach who tells you straight up, man to man. I saw one of your messages earlier. We've been trying to just keep our conversation going while I'm still reading that. I saw one of your comments earlier. All right. Their SP is not the end all be all. I have SP now, right? Everything's good with that. But there's still thoughts in my head of like, I told you, I went through shit with my SP. I went through some really bad shit with my SP. Certain things I forgave her, but it's hard to forget because okay, yeah, we can go back and revise the past. But for me, I don't. I'm not a fan of revision. I've not had. I'm not gonna say not success with it, but the success doesn't look the way you would expect it from how I've experienced revision. I don't know if you've had anything like that too, Gary, but revision, like how your results
I've
have.
had revision stories that I give. Yeah. So one of my SPs said a couple of years ago that and we were in no contact. They said they weren't gonna. And this is I'm not. I'm gonna give another story which isn't SP, but that she was gonna leave eventually the country and go somewhere else. And I was like, at the time, I was like, don't go, you know. And I eventually I revised it, and she's not. But you know, so that worked. And another SP story, sorry, another non story as an example. When I was in Bahrain, you know, we weren't we I wanted to get home, and my friend who I trained with 15 years ago was actually my boss, my chief pilot at the time, and he basically said there's you know, he doesn't know how they could engineer being able to, I wanted to go home sort of every 2 weeks, and he said I don't know how we can engineer that at this point in time, but eventually I scripted that it would happen, and basically about 3 weeks after that, sort of 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, I was flying back quite a lot. You know, there were times I had to stay in Bahrain, but I got home quite a bit. And so I've revision has like also parking tickets. There were times when I I mean, I don't know in America. I don't know what it's like, but you've got these yellow boxes in this country, and if you drive into it, unless you're turning right, you know, if you get flagged up, you get a penalty.
They
And I was just, I basically, someone had was driving in front of me, and I saw space on another lane, so I went for that lane. Someone else took that lane and then basically blocked that part, and then just behind it was the yellow box.
they
So I
got the
drove really slowly. I didn't stop, but I drove coasted kind of thing. And I like there was just enough space, but I think the back of my wheels were just kind of on
yeah.
technically on it. And I scripted, no, I got it, I got past it, and then I never nothing ever came. So yeah, I can't attest to it working every time.
Yeah.
Um,
Only one where I
but
have issues with because it's harder to change. I feel it's harder to change the past. The future hasn't happened yet, though they equally don't exist because all that exists is the present moment. Factually, for me and somebody who is logical, it is very hard to change the past. But my stuff, when I have done revision, things have changed, but that event still happened in my reality. But things have worked out in the way where I don't mind it as much, or things have worked out around it. So that's my experience with it. But in your case, okay, so did you give up? You've been at this. I can't remember if it's been a year or two, but and I don't know if you're applying the techniques because watching every one of my videos and every one of everyone else's videos and coming in all the lives and listening is not manifesting. And then reliving, oh, I can't forgive. I can't forgive. When you keep saying that, you come in this live every week and you say, I can't forgive. Well, what are you doing? You're repeating a statement, aka affirmations. You're affirming that you cannot. So, unless you're going to change that you can forgive, then I would say let it go. I never tell anyone you can't get your SP. I always say if you want a specific person, you can. But think about it this way: you have your SP back. Put yourself in the situation. You have your SP back. She's saying and doing everything you ever wanted. Are those thoughts still playing in your head? Does that apology matter that much to you? Because if you love somebody unconditionally, this is what I had to learn through the shitty shit that I went through with my SP. If you love someone unconditionally, then that means you love them without any condition. It's like, well, I'll love you if you do this, and I'll love you if you act like that. That's not unconditional love. That is a preference to something. It's like there's rules now, and you're setting rules, and it has to be this way. Now I get manifesting. We're trying to get a certain outcome, but you have to be in the state of like, okay, I love you no matter what. And just because bad things happen, and this is where I said the fine line comes in. Are you getting walked all over, or are you forgiving? Now, if you're truly killing off the ego and the pride and all that stuff like that, while still maintaining it enough to not be a pushover in life, and you could forgive certain things, cool, keep going. If you can't, which it seems like you can't because you bring it up every week, I would say script out the new perfect SP. But what else do you affirm every week? Even if you scripted out a perfect SP, you affirm to me every week, I'm bad with women, I'm bad with women, I'm bad with women, I can't get my SP. So to me, one, it sounds like you don't really care if it's that SP or not. You have a girl that hurt you and you choose, okay, she hurt me and I can't forgive her. Okay, you can't forgive her. You've accepted that as a fact. That's what you really believe. That's what you've affirmed. That's what you want. Let her go. Two, I'm bad with women. Okay, you're bad with women. How do you become better with women? Here's where I would say take a 3D step. If you need to watch dating coaches, watch dating coaches. You said I saw you say something about you want to be a more masculine man. A masculine man is not have. I'm not going to say a masculine man doesn't cry because we've all cried, we've all been hurt, we've all been beat up by life. But at the same time, we're not going to sit there and dwell on it. We're going to pick ourselves up and we're going to say, all right, what does a man do? A man, you write down what masculine is a we all define it differently. Each guy, like some people define Andrew Tate as the super masculine guy. Somebody thinks Jordan Peterson, who's more down the middle of the road, that's the perfect masculine guy. Whatever your definition of it is, whatever your definition of the perfect man is, script it down and start taking steps to become that guy. Remember, I had the acting technique. Become an actor and play that part and become so immersed in that part, you're lost in playing that character and you love that character so much that you are that character because life is a movie. We get to play whatever we want. And if you want to play if life is a movie, why do you want to play the guy who's nothing works out for me? I'm just girls don't like me. And you know that's a turnoff. So you need to pick yourself up, and it's like, and I saw the one word you used, which I'm not going to say on stream because it's a bad word that might get the video taken down or whatever, and it could give someone a handy later. Give somebody a handy later. It could come in hand for somebody
Let's
else.
stay away from
Yeah,
that.
video's not
None
giving
of
it
that.
handy. But the point is, this video come in hand for someone else later. There is not one person or circumstance that will take you out of the game. You're choosing to do that. You're choosing that it's too hard. I give up. Why are you choosing that? Why is it? I've been there, but it's like it comes down to it, and it's like I would have, if I would have checked out when I thought, I would have never been the mystic. I would have never had all those chances. And guess what? All the failures in life, me and Gary talked about where we failed at things, but those failures created opportunities to manifest new things or better opportunities or chances to prove the law. And it just makes life that much more of a fun adventure. If you were born into a life where it's like, I have everything I want. There's a Twilight Zone episode, I talk about it all the time, where the guy gets everything he wants. It's like he wants to gamble, he wins every hand. He wants a girl, he gets every girl he wants. And then he's like, don't I ever lose? Don't I get rejected? And then the guy tells him, he goes, do you want to lose? Do you want to get rejected? He goes, well, I get this is heaven. He goes, you think this is heaven? And he was in hell. The point is, you get everything you want. It was hell because there is no chance, there is no adventure, there is no fun, there is no self development. You just win, you just get everything. So you don't develop a character, you don't develop yourself, you don't become, you don't learn to truly love yourself if you're just getting everything. So throughout this whole thing, life is a process and a journey. We're here to learn. Sometimes there's a really hard class in school, and you got to buckle down and work your way through it. If you don't work your way through it, then you're not going to like learn anything in that whole process. And I think
Can I
that's
add to that?
yes. Go ahead, please. I was kind of running
So
out.
the first thing I'm going to do, because I want H to. Okay, so H has said. Okay, so I'm just reading what he said based on what you said, and I'm reading it above the
Yeah.
chat.
Mhm.
I want to know what does for H. What do you do when you're living your life? What do you do for yourself?
Yeah.
Do you go to the gym?
He said he
Do
goes
you?
to the gym and he power lifts, but it's like if that's not giving you confidence, why is it not giving you confidence? Are you not making results, or do you feel you're just doing those things because you're supposed to do them, and that will make you masculine? Just because you can lift up a bunch of heavy weight doesn't make you a masculine man. The weightlifting is just a compliment to who you are. Like me and
Well,
Gary,
the question
that's part of
for H is:
our identity.
these things that you're doing, are you doing them for you, or are you doing
That's
them for your person?
yeah,
Now, I tell you a story. I was when I was a kid, I was and growing up, I was socially inept until I was about 25, and then I got probably people reading about a book called the Game by a guy called Neil Strauss, and it was about a novel about these people that basically taught themselves from, and they were basically completely socially inept. They went from that to dating supermodels, and I read this, and then there's a big community. It's red pill, blue pill, red pill.
yeah,
But it was time. It was basically the gaming community, and you can even go on a VH1 if anyone remembers the the channel network. We've got the Mystery Method, and a guy called Mystery, and they all had alter egos. So Neil Strauss was Style. The mystery method. Mystery was his another guy. Then you had Gambler and all these other people. There's these books. They basically all made books about what they were doing. And my brothers even met Mystery. He's been out, and
yeah,
they what they do is they go out. They wouldn't like I wouldn't drink. I would go out into nightclubs and bars and what we call Sarge, basically just talk to groups, talk to people, men and women, and basically you then basically like there's ways like there's psychological ways like you wouldn't approach someone directly because it's more aggressive. You would approach someone at an angle, so like you're about to leave, so it doesn't look like you're too engaged with them. They're more inclined. It's about establishing rapport. Now,
yeah.
um, the more I did that, I say I didn't. I just drank water or Coke, and I don't drink. I do drink sometimes, but I don't really drink. I don't like alcohol that much. Um, so, and most people drink because they want confidence, and I'm a fairly confident person anyway. So, I don't really need it. So, you
And
know,
you're
and
confident.
doing my career and things, I'm used to talking to different people and engaging with different people and being able to establish rapport. So being able to do that, you know, got me out of that social inept kind of way. And you know, nowadays I'm able to talk to people a lot more confidently. It's helped me get jobs and things like that. But what I would say is, so I'm just reading what H has written now. Gym is the only thing that I do for myself. I go to the gym around midnight just so I'm alone. Okay. Um,
Something there too, but if you want to continue, I'll comment what I was thinking.
well, I was going to say, do something else. I like going to the cinema, and I like going on my own. I go to these. I do all this stuff on my own. I meditate on my own. John
Yeah,
Claude Van Damme wasn't there meditating with his friends. He was meditating on his own.
yeah.
You know, you know.
That's what I find real love
Get
is.
used to being on your own. Get
Yeah,
used to enjoying your own company. Be happy with being on your own.
yeah.
You know, that's a journey that I've had to establish for myself.
Me too.
You know, people call it the lone wolf,
Yeah,
but like, you know, I can go to the cinema and just, you know, people go, "Why are you going to the cinema? Who are you going with?" I'm like, "Myself." And they're like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because I like going to the cinema. I like doing these things for me." Like, I went to Vegas on my own for my birthday a few weeks ago, and I was telling Nick what was going on. Now Nick would have come out, but we
yeah.
just couldn't
I
get
just
our
go.
time. Couldn't get the time. We would have gone out together. But when you start to do these things on your own, if you've ever watched Wayne's World 2, you know, he goes, if you book them, they will come. When you start to be comfortable about doing these things on your own, people seeing you do that, they'll be like, oh, I want to go. Oh, I want to do that. Oh,
Yeah,
you'll be like, yeah, I'm just going to do it. I'm like, who are you going with? I'm just
and
going on
you.
my own.
Yeah,
Then they'll follow because they'll be like, oh, they're doing that. Oh, I want to get involved. Because
yeah.
like, and it is uncomfortable at first. It's uncomfortable at first. Like, but you know, I've met so many people all over the world that like, you know, and we were saying about revision, Nick.
Yeah,
I find I have more success with forward revision.
me too.
So I've scripted like well, not actually. I don't think I scripted this. I said I'm going to go to Chicago. We're going to go to Chicago. So we used to fly to America all the time. My last company, and we've just got the rights now to go to America. So and Chicago's our first focus city, and LA. I miss going to LA, but Chicago should be one of our first
Yeah,
American cities. So we're going to go to America, and me and Nick are going to meet up.
yeah.
So that's
Make some
like
video.
that's sick. That's amazing. Like, and it's like it's a win for me because, like, you know, to be able to like, and then we can do a live face to face.
Yeah.
So these
At a cigar.
things, you got to take these things as wins. So these are all things you got to do for yourself, and try and enjoy being in solitude.
Yeah.
Enjoy, take value in solitude because if you can do that, then you can handle being on your own. And then when the people come,
The-
then you know you'll
yeah.
start to feel it, and then you know you get that social value, and it all you know, but you don't need it, and that's where the resistance is. It's like you know that's an element of resistance. You need that social value, or you know people can't handle being on their own. They need to be um, with someone or doing something with someone. It's like no, just enjoy
Yeah.
yourself.
It's almost like you're doing something. It's like, am I doing good, guys? Am I like you're trying to get approval of the group? And one of my things I would say too is, okay, you're going to the gym. You said late at night so you could hide your weakness. You said you're a power lifter, and I know you before. You've mentioned your PRs, and if I remember them, I remember that they're pretty heavy. So why are you know what most people do? You know that you're stronger than most people. So why are you self conscious? And that's number one. Why are you self conscious? Two, you're in the gym for you. When I go to the gym, okay, here's self admitted. Do I sometimes look around and say, damn, that guy's in better shape than me? He's lifting more than me. Do I get everybody does, I feel like to a degree. It's something I've had, but guess what that leads to? Tearing your pec because you're mad, you're trying to show off for people. You're in there for you. Gary's in there doing Gary's fucking barefoot in the gym doing kick flips and tornado kicks and spinning a bow staff around, and he
All
doesn't
the
give a
blisters
fuck. And he's
through.
all this room. He doesn't give a fuck
Ripped
on
skin.
the tripod. And it's like, and I've posted these videos before too. It's like, I even say, I'm uncomfortable here with the tripod. You watch the one live where I'm outside, people are watching me with a tripod. I'm uncomfortable, but because I'm afraid of it and there's a fear element and it is uncomfortable, I do it anyway because it puts me in uncomfortable. And guess what? On the other side of that is success and more confidence. So I would suggest go to the gym a few times when there's other people and don't look at them, look at you. pretend it's 12 at midnight and you're doing your workout. Pretend that's what you're doing. And when you look up and realize, hey, I just left the gym, there's a lot of people. I didn't even notice it. And you know what? I bet they liked my workout or whatever, even if you have to think about what they thought, but you shouldn't be thinking about what they thought. It should just be, I worked out here with other people. And guess what? Nothing happened. What is going to happen? If you're worried about what they say, then they have control of your life and you don't. You need to have control of your life.
One
And
thing I will say on that,
what's that?
one thing I will add to that,
Yeah.
when I started kickboxing, and I know I needed to go and do this training on my own as well. I couldn't just wait for kickboxing one session a day a week or 2 sessions a week. I went every time in the gym. I did a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more before I started working out. Now I do at least half an hour's kickboxing, warming up, sparring, not like on my own, not with anyone, but shadow boxing, both staff work. And I was self-conscious because I'm like, if I start doing this, people are gonna think I'm weird. Now I've got people coming up, like, because yeah, okay, they might like, I've had people. I was doing both staff work initially, and I had two guys behind me. Like, I couldn't hear them. I didn't know what they were saying,
Yeah.
but they were chuckling a little bit and looking at each other. Now I know a lot of people in my gym,
Yeah.
and they do powerlifting. I know guys that do powerlifting. They lift heavier weight than I can lift, but they respect the hell out of me. Like, I walk onto the mat now, and one guy's like, literally, I walked onto the mat. One guy's like, I'm gonna leave you to it now. I'm gonna leave you to it. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna leave you to it because no one's gonna screw with me. Like,
Yeah.
but I take that humbly. I'm not. I'm just saying. What I'm saying
Yeah.
is, I'm a humble person. All I'm saying is, these two people behind me at this point in time, I could see what they're doing in the back of my eyes, like, because it's
Yeah.
no surprise they were doing that. Like, so they were obviously talking about me, and I turned around and I
Yeah.
went, "Was it good? All right?" And they went, "All good." And I carried on.
Yeah.
After that,
Never again.
never again. And then after a while, everyone's gonna go, "Oh yeah, it's Gary. Yeah, he's just
Yeah. There's
doing his
Gary
thing."
doing.
No one cares. I know, like, I've seen it all over
Oh,
YouTube. I
oh
know
yeah.
it sounds bad, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but no one cares.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting on with
It's,
their own thing in the gym. Everyone is getting on with their own thing in the gym. Get on with your own thing, and I promise no one cares. And eventually they'll just go, "Oh, it's them.
I,
It's
I will
H. He's
tell you.
doing his thing."
I will tell you. I'll tell you two stories on that. One was there was this kid. He was a chubby, like nerdy kid, going to the gym years ago when I was probably in my late teens, early 20s. He had to be roughly the same age. I used to work out with this fucking jerk off. They would make fun of people in the gym, and I hated that about him, but he would. And he was like, "Look at this dork! Oh, look at him!" He had, and hold on, where's it at? So I can't talk no shit because he's like, "Oh, look at him! He has his lightsaber, and he's doing the Darth Maul thing." Okay, I'm fucking sitting
You
here myself. So fuck that guy for saying that. But I respected the hell out of that kid. I didn't say nothing. I didn't give him a handshake or anything because I was shy myself at the time too. But I just told the other guy, "Shut the fuck up, dude." And it's like, yeah, I've seen other people laughing, but he for a fat guy who was kind of nerdy looking, he was spinning the fuck out of that thing, and I was kind of impressed. I would be like, "Can you teach me that?" But I would, that's my own insecurity. Then, like, you might be making other people insecure. Like, man, I would like to go lift with that guy, but he's lifting too much for me. Like, I don't want to get shown up by the chubby nerdy kid doing the Darth Maul spins, and me like I would have fucking dueled him with a lightsaber. Like, so that's one story. He was confident enough to do that. He didn't give a fuck. He went at the most packed time, 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the most packed time, and he did what he did. And then even myself, there's still every video I post on my comedy channel, whether it was cringe or not, is still up there. There's only a few I took down because I don't talk to the people in the videos anymore, so I took them down for that reason. But I have a video where when the Sopranos movie was coming out, I wanted to audition for it. And I didn't know how to do it other than, oh, let me use my channel to try and make a video trying out for it. Me and my friend put so much work into it. I knew I couldn't do the Tony Soprano voice that good, but I thought, maybe, and he hyped me up. He's like, you're good, you're good. 15,000 people saw that video until I made another video on TikTok. That was my most popular video. It's got more views than even anything on this channel. 15,000 views. I don't even know what it's at now. People shredded me to fucking shreds in that comment section. Fucking dork! Oh, you don't look like Tony Soprano. This fucking asshole! You're ruining The Sopranos, which is one of my favorite shows. And like, just people ripping me. And guess what? A year went by, nothing happened to me. Nobody hurt me. Nothing. It was just words. The only way those words could hurt me is if I took it to heart. So they were hurting me when I was doing it. And then I just kind of fell off the channel for a while, or I started making other videos. Nobody said nothing again. And
Mhm.
that video died down. Every now and then you would be afraid to open the comment section and see somebody said something. But then after a while, it goes away. Like you said, nobody gives a fuck. At the end of the day, it sounds bad, but nobody gives a fuck. Like it will go away. What was the other one? But basically, it's like I left it up there too because like I'm not ashamed. That was fun for me and my friend, and we put work into it. And we edited that video for a long time. And just because other people didn't like it, that video is a testament of something me and my friend put together. So fuck what other people say. And now that thing that may have turned out to be a flop, or depending how you look at it, maybe it was a shitty thing if you look at it that way. But now it's up there as a testament and a thing for this channel to give you motivation. So everything in the long run, like Gary said, I always land on my feet, and I always say, you always everything works out in your favor. That video, maybe not being the perfect thing and me getting roasted, gave me strength to help motivate other people now. So it did work out in my favor in the long run.
One thing, I'm just looking at H again, because two parts. One part is when he said, I go along because if there's anyone else, I start being conscious of my weakness, and then Mystic, I promise I won't bring up. So, okay, there's no issue with bringing up a sob story. Okay, we've all
Yeah.
got stories.
Yeah, I'm not
I'd
going
like to know,
to hear you.
the question you have to ask yourself, and if you want to put it on there, then it would be interesting to discuss, was what do you see your weakness as? The other thing I was going to say is Wellness has said, could you explain forward revision? So
You
forward
gave,
revision.
you gave it a name, a forward revision, and
Yeah.
I didn't have a name for it. But what I was describing is what you just said. That's why I said I know what you're talking about.
So you're basically revising the future. You're basically saying, I'm going to go to Chicago in my company's going to fly to Chicago. We're
Even
going
though
to fly to Chicago. I'm gonna have an 8-pack in. Okay, don't give it a time crunch. Just be like, I've got an 8-pack.
yeah,
One of my forward revisions, actually, one of them was, I'm an amazing kickboxer. I have the body of Thor and Superman combined, and I am in one of the best shapes of my life. And there are times when after a pump, I just have this massive V, and I've never seen that in my body. Like I could show you, I've got pictures from 2013. There was nothing there. Like my
yeah,
arms were just like it's taken time. It's taken time. I'm not saying this was 2013. So I've been working on myself even before that, but and I hate this. And I knew I was going to come to this point to say time doesn't matter. And I've said to Nick, and I will say it. I know what it's like when people say time doesn't matter. Time
yeah,
doesn't matter. I know, and I know, like everyone has their own point of view. I will say, I don't. I do empathize with people when people say when people say time doesn't matter. I do not completely agree with the premise that time doesn't matter, because unless you're immortal in this realm,
yeah,
time does matter to an element. Because if you've done 10 affirmations and you go out and something happens to you, you've just spent all that time doing affirmations and you haven't been living your life. You've just been doing affirmations. So time, there is an element of
There's a
time. Yeah, it it has to be considered, and I do empathize with that.
yeah,
And I think a lot of coaches don't, and um, so I don't believe it. That being said, I don't believe it should take years to get what you want.
no, I don't
That
either.
I don't believe it. So going back to what you're saying about forward vision. Forward vision is basically manifesting for what you want in the
Yeah,
future. But
I would say yeah, because it's almost like it sounds like you're just when you say it like that, it almost sounds like you're just doing affirmations in general. But at the same time, I see what you're saying. You're using affirmations to change a core belief of the past or a core story of the past, which is regular vision. But you don't care if what you're experiencing in your current reality due to what was happening changes. You just want the future to change. So it's like, okay, this happened. I'm not trying to change that it happened. I'm not trying to change where it has me now, but I know in the future, if I talk good enough about this and where I am now, it will change that. so you don't actually have to go back and change it. Whereas, oh, I got broken up with, and I revised the story that I never got broken up with, and then she comes right back and starts acting like nothing happened. One, everything happens in a normal, natural way, so there will be a bridge of events that lets it play out. So you'll still see a bridge playing out to it. Um, I've never seen it where it's like I know there's stories like Ava had the one with her friends where she was beefing with her friends, and
Oh, that was a good one.
that's
That
a
was such a good one.
it
I
is
never
really,
forgot that one. And I said
and
I actually, because I spoke to Ava and I said, oh, I
yeah,
remember that one. But I took it down and, you
yeah.
can never find it again. But I remember the story. Like, I'll never forget it. I'll
I
never
wish
forget it.
I left it up because that is one of the best revision stories. And the reason why I don't speak on revision much is my success with revision has not been the by the book revision. Like when I met my SP, I had a torn pec, and I said I'm going to focus on myself. And every failed relationship I had in the past, or every girl that rejected me, I sat down in the car while I was feeling horrible about myself and didn't care what happened to me. I sat down. I said, "Oh, my first crush. Yeah, we had a relationship. It was puppy love, whatever. But we broke up. It was amicable." And then I went through and I said, "Oh, and then the next girl I had a crush on in high school. Yeah, we had a relationship throughout high school. And then the girl I went to prom with, who left me for another guy at the prom, I went back and I did the whole thing. I'm like, oh, things went good between us. And then this chick I had a crush on right after I left high school. And then the chick that was the first SP. I went back. I revised all those things. I'm like, you know what? My life is good, and I'm only focused on me now. I'm praying to God too. I'm like, and I just promised that I'm going to focus on myself. I walk into the gym and somebody keeps trying to drag me to meet this girl. I'm like, I don't want to meet her. I want to focus on me. He eventually gets me to go see the girl, and that girl becomes the SP that I go on this journey with. But if I didn't have all the failures and successes with her, it wouldn't have led me to this channel, which wouldn't have led me to help other people. So I don't regret any of the bad stuff, but that was my form of revision. Those girls didn't come back to me. I mean, I wound up talking to all of them years later, which was crazy too. Like I would have never thought I'd hear from the girl from grammar school, but I did. I would have never thought that my crush in high school, or I talked to them, but it was never anything. It's like I just kind of thought they were out of my life for good. Relatively around that same time, they would within that next year. I wound up talking to all of them at a certain point, and I probably could have maybe spit some game and got them, but I was all into my SP then. And the one girl like that was the most recent, the first SP before my SP, before Lily, there was that girl Emily. She did come back around, and there was a chance where I could have made the trade, and I didn't. So, and I did do a revision technique on that, but it took a year to play out. So, like we said, we're not worried about it. Doesn't take years, but that one I specified it was going to happen within a year. But anyway, that's been my experience with revision. Other little stuff, but I don't like revision is something that doesn't feel natural for me. Even Neville admits it's one of the harder techniques to do. Personally, it doesn't feel natural for me, and I'm happy with manifesting the way I do. I could explain revision to you, but I could explain it to you from what I've experienced, and then I can read you what Neville did. But that's about my experience with. I don't doubt it. I know it's real. I know it's worked for other people, but just for me, I teach what I know and I teach what I've experienced. I'm not going to be phony and be like, yeah, I can teach you whatever you want, and yep, you know what? Just buy a session and we're going to do it. No, if I haven't had the experience what you're trying to teach me, I'll say no to the session. Um, so that's just something like that. All right. And then
Just,
as you can
yeah.
revise the old story, I started doing revision, changing the script of what happened. Yeah, I mean, you could if it feels natural for you and you like it and that's what makes you feel good, then do it. But if that technique doesn't feel good to me, it's like if I like working out a certain type of way, and I tell Gary, you got to work out this way because look how it's got my body looking, and then he can do it and he gets zero results because his body doesn't work for his body type, and then he could train a certain way and I could train that way and maybe get negative results. Well, you'll get some results because you're working out, but like what works best for me might not work best for him, might not work best for you. That's why everything is custom. I could make a video on every topic of this stuff, and then you pick and choose what feels natural. And if you can't figure it out, that's where the coaching comes in and we talk, and then I try to figure out what's best for you and we experiment.
Um, One thing I was going to say is, hey, you said I want to stop being a validation seeker. Validate yourself, man.
Yeah,
Validate
that's the only
yourself. Go do some mirror work. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. When you're in the gym, just work yourself. You are do things for you and validate yourself. Why do you don't need to be validated by anyone?
and nobody
It
gives.
is hard. I know it's hard. I empathize. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, it's so easy. It's not, because
Yeah,
even I like. But
we
when you start just doing a little bit, just do. It's like, okay, so the way I go up in weight and reps, just do one more.
Yep.
So if I do rep ranges like 4 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 10, right? When I start hitting 6, 8, 10, up the weight by 10%. Just hit 3 or 4.
Yep.
Then the next week, one more rep. Just do one more thing. Just focus on that one.
Yep.
It just has to be minuscule. And then when you see someone come to you, oh, how do you do that? Oh man, you got a great but like it's
Yeah.
that, and there's one bit, one bit, one bit. It's the foundation. You're just building a foundation. Validate yourself, and that's what I would say to you, H. You know, like it's you know you're going on about your SP. Your SP is not your life. You
No.
are your life. Like put your and say cliche, put yourself on the pedestal.
Yeah,
But
but the reason cliches exist because they're real. It's legit.
don't have a pedestal. Forget that word. Like, okay, let's make it new.
Yeah.
Don't put anything. There's no pedestal. Just a flat surface. You're there, and that's it. Then what will happen is the pedestal will just raise anyway. Okay, it will just. It's like when you go to a concert and the guitarist just is like on a stand. It just raises.
Yeah.
Don't put anything on a pedestal. You're just on a flat surface. You're just doing you. Do you,
Yeah.
and then that will raise slowly.
Yep.
That's what I would say. Start with a flat surface. No, nothing's on a pedestal. Nothing and no one.
Yeah.
Not even you. Just work on you, because that's where I think you need to start. You need to create a foundation.
Yep.
Start with a flat surface. So yeah, that's what I'd say to H.
Yeah. Well, and then I'm just reading his other messages right now too. H, so you're saying that your self, okay, I get it because it happened to me and Gary, it happened to other men, it happens to women too, it happens to everyone. SP leaves, your self esteem and confidence drops. Yeah, that's something that happens because you're trying to figure out what happened and then you blame yourself. Okay, well, what did we learn through manifesting? Your thoughts and feelings create the reality. Okay, that's true. Well, you have to forgive yourself for the situation and forgive SP and forgive everything about it. That's number one. And if you can't, even if you don't want that SP anymore, even if you don't care, then forgive it and forget. Forgive and forget. If you don't want that SP anymore, and even if you do, you still have to forgive and forget. But you said my sense of masculinity was entwined with my SP. Well, that's a problem because that means your SP holds your masculinity. A truly masculine man does not have somebody else holding his masculinity. And you know how easy it is to get it back? Just take it back. Just say, by you going and doing you and being brave even though you're scared makes you a man already. And it's not just for men, it's for women too. It's like just being scared and still doing something anyway doesn't just make you masculine, it makes you brave, it makes you stronger. Instead of letting somebody else, why does somebody else hold your happiness? And I'm going to say it because I understand where you're at because I've been there, but you cannot let her have that masculinity. You cannot let her have some essence of you because really she doesn't. You just put it there. She doesn't even know that. You just said it's almost like as if not to be mean or sound like it's an excuse, but it's like, no, this thing happened to me, so now I don't have it and I don't know what to do. Well, here's me telling you, and Gary will probably vouch for this too. We're telling you, just be brave and live your life. That's it. That, like Gary said, you're on here and you slowly raise yourself up.
I'd like to know what I'd like to know what H is exposing himself to, what he's watching on television,
Yeah. What kind
he's
of,
listening to.
yeah.
I want to know what he's exposed to, because if you're watching stuff like if he said to me right now, I'm not saying he is, but I'm saying if you said, "Oh, yeah, I watch the news every night," I'd go, "Stop watching the news." If you say, "Oh yeah, I watch sitcoms or this, that, and the other," I'd say, "Stop watching that." I'd like to know what your exposure is, and then trim off what needs to be trimmed off. It's like when you cut negative people out, you need to really see what you're exposing. Are you on Facebook all the time? Are you on social media? Are
Yeah.
you looking on their Facebook account? Do you need to? Do you need to be on Facebook? Do you need to have a Facebook account?
Yeah.
Do you need one? Like, spend 30 days. Yeah, that's a good one. Stop
That's
pornography.
uh,
But spend 30 days without any social media, or just enough to communicate with people.
Yeah.
Let people communicate with you. Do you need to communicate with people? Okay, if it's for your job, then fine. But
Yeah.
do you need to communicate with this person? Do you need to say this thing that you really have to say on
Yeah.
WhatsApp? No, you probably don't.
Yeah.
So get off of it.
Need to text you for you to feel good about yourself, or could you just do it yourself?
Take it from me firsthand. You don't need social media.
No.
Okay, you really don't. Go back. Step off the grid. Step off the grid. Really, step off the grid. Get out of the matrix,
Yeah.
because then you'll start to, what's it, Angela Casa. I can't even cite. I deleted my social media for a while now. Good, yeah, great. I endorse that. What the other thing I was going to say is Queen's Handle
Yeah.
said,
I was waiting to see if you want to address it, but I was going to address it too and say I don't personally from Mystic. I've got my own ethics. Gary knows about my ethics too. Like he was a client, but then he made a video for me, and I said, "You're not paying for your next session." He made another video. I said, "You're not paying for sessions if you're editing my videos." And then we became friends. So like that's how that happened. But I would not take money because that's my ethics. He would be if his sessions ran over, he was paying extra even though I didn't ask because that was his ethics. My ethics of like manifesting someone who's married, I've never tried it, so I always coach from my own perspective. My ethics would be okay. I don't know if you were together before. I don't know the specifics of it. I don't really care about the specifics of it. I don't tell you what to manifest or who to manifest or why to manifest. You have your desire. If it agrees with your ethics, then I can't tell you that your ethics are wrong and mine are right. That's why it's personal. Everyone has their own personal ethics. If it doesn't bother you, then okay, then it doesn't bother you. But I'm not going to tell you what to do. Personally, if it came to me as a client, that would be a hard one. That might be one that I would turn down because
Angela Kalashibeta. I just want to know if I'm saying it right. Tell me if I'm saying it right. Angela Kalashibeta. Okay. If you only have YouTube,
it was too hard for me.
awesome. I just want to know if I said it right. Um, yeah. But I agree. Yeah. What I was going to say to Queen's Handle is, don't change your ethics, but obviously make sure you're, I mean,
You have to be good with it.
look, be a good person. Be a good person. Just be a good human being. Forget religion. Forget. I'm not saying forget it. Don't acknowledge it. I'm saying, in light of what I'm saying, just be a good. Yeah, I got it right. Be
Yeah,
a good person. Just devote yourself to being a good human being. You
yeah,
bleed. I bleed. Everyone bleeds. Just be
yeah,
a good human being and watch everything around you. Just resonate. I'm not perfect. I get angry. I get pissed off.
all of us.
It's human, but what I would say is maintain you can still love someone and maintain your ethics. You can still have two opposite point of views,
Yeah,
and nothing's stopping you from acting on your ethics and doing what you believe in. The respect is that you carry on doing that. It's like when I go into the gym, or I do things, or I do conduct myself in a certain way, and someone might disagree with it, but then after a while they're like, oh, people start to respect it because they're like,
yeah,
well, Gary's not going to freaking change his ethics for anyone. So
yeah,
I need to respect that, because I'm going to respect theirs. I respect their, as long as it's nothing abusive or anything like that, because I
yeah,
don't endorse that.
yeah,
But I would say, if you love someone, you love them. Doesn't mean you have to change your ethics. And
yeah,
and what will happen is that person will start to respect you, and they might not, uh, religiously follow your ethics, but they'll certainly respect them and
yeah. Like
maneuver
I
around.
respect it if that's what her manifestation is. I'll never tell you your manifestation is right or wrong. I had turned down a client before because um she started with talking about it was abusive. So whenever it's abusive, even though I believe that there's no limit to people can change and stuff like that, I won't. That's an area I won't go to. And then I found out she was the one doing the hitting and the abusing. I'm like, I'm not gonna help you manifest someone back so you can beat the fuck out of them. So that
Yeah.
was my ethics saying, okay, you don't understand
And I've heard other,
manifestation.
and
If you
that
learn it from
I've
someone,
heard other coaches say the same things. Yeah.
what's that?
That is one thing other coaches do say consistently. It's like, why do you want to manifest someone who is being abusive, or you're being abusive too? Why do you want that?
Yeah,
Why do you want that? Ask yourself why you want that in your
yeah,
life, because that's quite toxic, and I don't endorse that.
yeah,
Um, and no one should. And like I said, I am pinpoint on consistency. You know,
Yeah.
I really am, when it comes to the coaches, the people I follow, consistent. I will always follow a coach who is consistent. Nick is one of them. I have very few, but you know,
Yeah, I know.
and it's getting fewer. It's getting fewer. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
It's almost
I'm
two.
like, damn. I'm like,
Um,
it's
but,
chopped like, yeah.
yeah.
But she said, okay, I'm trying to give up on him, but couldn't. Thank you both. You're welcome. I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, it's your own life and your own ethics. If you're cool with it, then be cool with it. And it's like, for me, it's like, that's a hard part of like, yeah, I want to be a full time coach, but and not go to work my day job. But I would rather work my day job and turn down certain things that I don't feel comfortable with. It's almost like selling your soul because it's like, oh, I need the money. I don't care if you want to manifest this guy back to beat the shit out of him, or I don't care if you want to wreck a relationship to get it. I mean, to be fair, my situation was my SP knew her ex before she knew me, and she left me for him when I got scared, and then I manifested the third party away, and I got her, but they weren't married. But so I
Yeah.
mean, at the end of the day, you could argue that my thing was just as unethical as a marriage. So there's no right or
But
wrong.
I mean, was it Queen Tandle saying, "Is it fair to manifest a
Yeah,
married man?" The first question I'd ask is how you got into that position. But um, moving forward from that, you don't know that they're not having problems, or you know they would get anything would happen
my SP was
with
having problems
you know
mental.
on their own, on their own fruition. So on their own accord. So I would say, if you're manifesting a person, you're manifesting a person.
Yeah,
Don't go out and start creating rumors so that you try
yeah.
and break them up.
Don't do yeah.
Don't do stupid
Thing against
things. Like that's just ridiculous. But like it's the same thing I'd say to H. Just be you.
yeah,
As vague as that sounds,
yeah.
and it's
It's like
not as easy.
yourself, and then in the end, it's like everything will unfold the natural way. Like when I manifested the third party away, it was literally I wasn't going out trying to find them and break them up or getting her ear and telling this guy's bad for you because I didn't even know who the fuck he was. All I did was write a letter to a fictional character that I knew was a person in the 3D and burn the letter. And then everything I wrote down that was good and loving for that guy, even though I didn't know who the fuck he was, wrote down a nice, good, loving letter. And guess what? All the good things I wrote for him, they happened to him in his life. All the good things I wrote for me and my SP, they happened between us. All the things I forgave myself for, I overcame those demons. So then it was a good experience. But then, you know, I went through my ups and downs with SP. I still lost again after that. I mean, the story of 5 times, probably 6 or 7 in the end. But it's like my biggest dilemma on all of it was I couldn't hold the self concept. And this last time around, where things are good the way they are, I just and it wasn't not caring, it was detachment from, okay, what have I proved on this journey? You can manifest whoever the fuck you want as many times as you want, and there is no limitations to this thing. And it was like, okay, if you're back, you're back. I have to live with the shit that happened, and I just choose if I'm going to live with it or not. Third party can be a job or a friend. Yeah, it could be a job or a friend. I had a client who was the in-laws, so it's like it's whatever. I mean, anything blocking it, but I've had promotions blocked by third parties and stuff. Manifested 3 of them away, and I got the promotion, but I wanted to leave in the place before I got that full promotion. Went somewhere else for a better opportunity that actually fit everything I was looking for in the promotion, but it took me leaving to wind up getting a better spot.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see. I know I'm kind of. Wait, you're 5 hours ahead of me. What the fuck? It's like 3 a.m. over there.
But
3.
I'm watching. It's like the stock market. It's like first it's like 8 watching now, then it goes up to 14, then it goes down to 10, and now it's at 50.
The numbers
Like,
are. I'm not to you. This is.
going up.
I've never. I mean, I've seen it a couple times like this. When me and Tone went live, it was like this. When me and Lily went live, it was like this. And now me and you. And then 1 or 2 other times when I went live late on a Monday, it would peak up. It's usually 6 to 7, sometimes 10, maybe 12. We're up to 15, 16 down. It's going up and down a lot. So I'm like, it's crazy to see that.
I would say, look,
I think we covered everything I wrote down too.
advertisement. Get on Discord. I'm adminning it now. Hopefully, it's less than $5 a month. Like it's
Actually,
like 2 cups of coffee.
yeah.
It's like
Well,
less than
$7.50.
$5 a month. If rather than wait for a live every week, get on Discord and you can talk to us all the time.
Yeah. I'll post
You
the
know?
I'll post the link up today, just because it's like I didn't know.
Discord.
Yeah, yeah, you're the one hyping up the Discord. It's like, you know what? That's walking in faith too. I couldn't figure out how the payment shit works, but I know that there's a payment thing because I was thinking too. I'm like, I don't want no one who's not part of the group to just jump in there. So it's like, okay, tried to make it cheap, but for some reason, Inked is saying that it shows up as 750 a month. So, but you and me saw 550. So I don't know.
Four
It's
ninety something.
somewhere between five
Right.
dollars 50 cents to 750. Either way, it's about the same
But
amount.
okay,
Or two.
I don't know if that's. I was saying is that's a currency difference, but you're in the same country, so
Yeah. So I mean,
I don't know if there's
I
surcharges for
it was,
different
but I saw
states.
it on my end. I saw it on my end as 550, and you saw it on your end. So
Oh, but Inked is in the same state as you.
it's not going to break the bank.
Yeah, yeah, $7.50.
The other Discords that I've seen that people have that are paid, they're at $8, $9, $10 a month. I tried to drop it below that. I try to be the Walmart of manifestations.
Nick, you might maybe do a promotion or something like that.
We'll make a video on it, and then we'll post it. And then
Make a video on
put it in the link tree too.
Discord.
Yeah, Discord. I didn't know. Click yourself because you did a better thing. It's just like me talking about the Discord and then insert yourself Discord, and then like me continue, then you come back.
Like, improv. Yeah, man. Discord.
Yeah,
Get on it.
yeah.
Just
So
do
it's like,
it.
well, and then it's like one of the things is like I'm like, oh, how do I link the Stripe with it? And did I even set it up the right way? It's like whatever. We'll figure it out as
Yeah,
an
I mean, say we've been on here for.
hour
I
and a
can
half.
stay on it. I've got nowhere to be right now. I mean, it's 20 to 4 in the morning here, and I'm cool. So, like, I'm flying in 2 days, so I'll be away. So it's easier. Like, I'll be around next week for another live. If you want to do one, I'm up.
No,
But
bring
you
ink.
know, but if you want like to go into this a little bit more, I'd say people get on Discord where you've got Nick. You know, I'm there. You got Inked.
Yeah, I
You
gotta
know,
make a grader still.
and it's just expanding. So just get, you know, you're gonna have people available to, especially like I prefer doing the one-on-ones with Nick, as we were doing initially, and as we still do today. I think some people should do some coaching, a couple sessions, if it's not going to break your bank.
Yeah,
Um, if you really need a push, and you know, because I mean, I'm reading the chats, and some of the stuff I'd be interesting to know on a deeper level. I'm not saying put your story out on here. I'm
or yeah,
saying some of the stuff I'd be interested to know on a deeper level what the stories are with some of the people. You know, so you can really get into it, and then go from there. But to start it off with, I'd say get on Discord. I don't know if you can do a private. I think you can do private chats.
I
So
think, or you can make a
so if
room.
you get on, if you guys get on Discord, you know, I'm there, Nick's there. If you want to talk to, I mean, look, okay, I'm not the coach. I'm
Yeah,
not the
yeah.
coach. I'm not going to sit here and spout it off because I'm not. Nick is the coach, but I love being there for people. That's that. Like I say, be a good person. I just want. I enjoy helping people. So
And it
I'm
together.
there. You know.
Because we're all gonna have down days. No matter how confident we are, we're all gonna have down days. You even see me sometimes. The channel sees I'll disappear for a while because ethically, there's my ethics again. Ethically, I'm not going to try to coach people if I'm down because that's bullshit. To be like, yeah, I'm in a bad mood, but here's how you should live your life, and then you're gonna rush through a session. That's bullshit. I won't do that. So ethically, I won't. But it's like even I go through stuff too. But sometimes when I'm feeling down, I go to the comment section and see, oh, people are getting helped by what I'm doing, and that boosts me up. And then it's like, okay, now I'm gonna go back and rebuild myself. So it's like we're all in this together at the end of the day. Even though, okay, I got the SP thing, but are there still other things I want in my life too? Yeah. But do some of those things look pretty hard? Yeah. But I've proven that so much other shit that I've accomplished that seemed impossible has happened. No matter the time, I know we're gonna get back to time doesn't matter. No matter the time, but it won't take more than a year. Then I will get what I want, and you will get.
Change the way you look at things. The things you look at will change.
Yeah, I keep hearing the video now. Ding.
Ding. Angelica said, everyone has been talking about Discord today. When you say that, did you mean everyone's been talking about Discord in general, or
He was on another
the Mystic Man?
somebody else's channel before this.
What's that?
She was on a live stream for someone else's channel before this, but I don't know the coach. I'd never heard that name before.
Yeah, I think Sammy. Oh shit. I think Sammy Ingram. I never really heard about Discord, and I mean Sammy mentioned it a few times when I was watching her stuff, and I've only really just started to sort of look at it now.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good, you know, nice little private area to get onto, and just sort of where you can just talk freely, and without say breaking the bank.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
But I think that's a good way. We'll make some more videos this week. I've got the one video, and I'll send you a voice memo about it after this because I forgot to start early tomorrow. I start at 7 instead of 8. So coming up on 11 over here. I still want to hit 100 shoulders each way, and then knock out in the shower again and knock out. But I think this was a pretty successful.
Still in it? H still in it?
What's that?
H went quiet, so I don't know if he's still in there.
Oh, maybe I don't know. Maybe he left. But either way, we'll probably end this now because it's fucking 4 a.m. for you, and you got a flight. Well, 24 hours from now or whatever.
No. Yeah, tomorrow. I'm fine.
Tomorrow you're good, but I got to be up.
You got to be up. Oh, he's here. He's here. Woo. Yeah. He's just here. I'm glad you're still here, man.
Yeah, you stuck it out the whole time. Well, thank you, brother. You're awesome too. Make sure you know that you're awesome. So,
if I've hyped you up, or Nick and I've hyped you up just in the last 2 hours, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and like he said, I will work on things good. Keep working on them, and don't talk like you were talking earlier. That is never the solution. What you said earlier. Trust me, I've been there.
I've been there. I got I've been the same place as Nick. I won't lie. But as I said, because I've always found that I landed on my feet. It just isn't. It's not an area I would ever go to again.
Yeah. When you realize it, you look back and it's like it was a reoccurring thing for a while. It's like every couple of years you hit another wall in life, and it's like there's no way out. Well, let me just push. Well, like Jordan Peterson says, push it off another day, and another day, and another day. It's like one more rep, and then you realize, oh, you know what? Things are slowly changing, and then you look back on it. I look back on 10 years later, all those obstacles. It's like it's a little wall like this, but I was just building up a bigger character to step over the wall, and it was like, well, that little wall was the thing I was really gonna check out of the game for. Wow, it was really not a big deal. But you look back on it 10 years later, it's like, what the fuck?
As as you've said, Nick, in many lives before, we're here to pull each other up.
Yeah.
Certainly, you look at when I was doing say when I started sort of trying to talk to people and get into the game a little bit and talking to women and talking to men, social circles and things like that. You knew people in the community doing that. You'd know that people that weren't in the community, because what you see is a bunch of guys, generally it's guys, who'd go up and go, oh, this guy's a dickhead. He's trying to what we call alpha male the other person.
Yeah. But
it makes all of you look worse.
Yeah.
Whereas if you met my mate, like he's fantastic, or she's a fantastic person, like he does this, you're upping their value, and that's what we're here to do. Is up your value. That's what we're all here to do. Up each other's value. And that's bring each other up.
Yeah, they say that the 5 people you spend the most time with is the 5 people you're like. Well, that's why we have the community here. You keep taking the best aspects of everybody here, and if you have a bad aspect or they have a bad aspect, pull each other up so they lose that negative thought process and move up, and we all move up together and build ourselves up. But I think a solid way to end it. The endings are always hard because it's like other things come in or other stuff. Also, many things you mentioned, we all know it. Point is to apply it, and I shall apply. There you go. See, that's the thing. That's what I said. Be doers of the word and not just hearers.
I'm really proud. I've managed to keep this cigar going for
You did. I fucking killed it.
Doing a bit out.
I was watching you, and I was like, oh, he's still got like that much, and I'm down
You know
to
they
here.
have competitions. You know you can get cigar competitions where, like, if you win, if you can keep it going the longest.
Really?
I reckon I would have won today.
I,
This was only supposed to be about an hour and 20. This cigar is still going.
They say like if you get the ash, like if the longer you keep your ash without it falling, is like the better quality of the cigar. And I used to have
Right.
conversations with my friends like that to see how long that the ash would go before it would fall.
And then it falls and set
Yeah,
yourself on fire.
I have like 10 pairs of pants that I really like that are ruined. I bought these really nice pants with Lily one time for like going out in the summer. They were like dress pants, but they were shorts. And I was smoking a cigar while wearing them and riding my motorcycle. And I was trying to do a Winston Churchill by keeping it in my mouth. But as you're riding the motorcycle, it's blowing back in your face. Yeah, trying to spit it all out. And then I look down and like there's a hole that's burned in those really nice shirts. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? It was not as cool. You see Winston Churchill walking up, like his cane, walking up the hills and battlefields with it in his mouth, and it's like that looks cool. And then you just try to do something simple like ride a motorcycle slowly, and you got the wind, or even going for a walk while keeping it in your mouth. But like I can't, I got to keep taking it out.
That'll be the next video.
The next video will be,
Ah!
yeah, get it like when you fall down, get back up. Me falling off the motorcycle, my pants are burned. And how will I ever manifest this? And then it's like limping, lifting up the motorcycle. My pants, everything's all like black and white and blurry, and you hear like the ringing, like.
I don't know if you saw the film Anchorman. When he was in the car and he's having the milk, he just throws it at Jack Black. Jack Black's on the motorcycle, and just hits him. He's like, "What are you doing? You just wrecked my motorcycle."
He's like, "This,
like that."
Billy.
You can imagine you throw the cigar at someone and their car blowing up.
That's hilarious. But I think that was a good live. We had some laughs. We had some motivation.
A really good live.
Yeah, I really like that. This is our first roundtable one. When we finish up now, I'm going to go change the name of this live because all it says is Mystic Manifesting is live. So I'm going to say Mystic Live, Mystic Roundtable Episode 1, and then I'm going to put the thumbnail you made on there, and then we'll be good to go.
And every person that joins us on live gets a seat at the table on the picture.
Yeah.
So I have to do Photoshop every single time, but I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
I just like the one I meant. Like, I was proud of the one I did with your face on it. I'm not so sure about my face on it, but maybe that's just me. But
I look good.
Like your pose.
Stuff.
Sorry?
I said sometimes we're just overcritical of our own stuff, but it looked good to me. I mean, it's better than I would have done. But
so if we get any females, I don't know. I'll have to
Photoshop like a woman character.
Photoshop them on there, yeah. Maybe inked. We'll get inked on the left side, and then the more people we get,
there
be like the Last Supper.
Yeah, we should a supper one and do that too. I had a friend group. I used to be the Photoshop guy. There was like this really easy app to do it. I would like cut out the faces and I put us all over the Last Supper because the one guy was moving away. So we put him over the Jesus one and then all of us at the table.
Yeah.
There's like
always a fight to be
going
Jesus.
away party banner.
I want to be Jesus. I'm Jesus.
Yeah. But
yeah, man.
I enjoyed this. We'll be doing another one soon. I love all you guys. You got this. I got to say all my catchphrases.
Discord.
Discord. I love you guys. You got this. You can't fuck this up, and everything's working out in your favor. Thanks, Gary, for being here. Thanks for all the fucking awesome videos you've been doing. It's been amazing, and we'll brainstorm some new ones soon, and hopefully they're motivating you guys. They're supposed to keep you in that peak state. Drive yourself up like Tony Robbins, and then watch those videos if you need to. That's why Gary makes them like shorter, so you can just watch them real quick. But anyway, good night, guys. Gary, I'll talk to you probably in a little bit or tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm around.
We'll see you guys later. We'll take a bow now. I love you guys, and we'll see you next one.
Cheers, guys.